from my personal perspective, this is what I feel like. You got to let them know through assertive communications. Okay, so we're gonna get a super panel on now and get a conversation flowing because that's what we do best. But again, by all means, by all means, by all means, by all means, um, we'd love to hear your perspective as well, guys. So if you do want to join, let us know. We'll definitely bring you on the panel tonight as well. So I'm gonna go live on Insta too, and should be there as well. We'll get the panel going as well. Okay, so make sure you strap in because we're about to get the panel on, get the conversation flowing, get it running around. I still can't really say she'll slap him in the face. Well, she didn't say it like that, but let me not say it like that. Um, you know, so but baby, 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 baby. Do 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 do. I pray for someone like you. Nothing, God, that I finally found you. All right, let's get this playing. Let's get going. All right, let's get the super panel guys on. Let me get my deacon. Okay, all right, and my worship leader today as well. Let me get them on. Okay, my prayer warrior onto the screens for y'all tonight. All right, so let's get it going. There we go. Fantastic. Let's get it going. Deacon Sean, how you doing today? Love to see you. It's good to see you, brother. And our good worship leader and prayer warrior, Sister J, on the panel as well today. Listen, this episode is a crazy one, and I'm looking forward to hearing your perspectives because a lot did happen. We just did a little bit of a breakdown between Ashley and Don. I want to get your thoughts on quickly on the Ashley situation with Don. I don't want to go too deep, just a quick little dive in, and then we'll get into the other couples as well. So just quickly, what your thoughts are on Ashley and Don and their situation as well. Deacon, if you could just open us up in your word, and let's just hear what you're going to say about this couple here.
Oh, man. It's just exposed, and I think this was, another reckoning type episode where, I think everybody was fully exposed. Ashley was exposed completely. I think if anybody was ever in any doubt that she has some problematic behavior to her, if you're gonna deny it after seeing this episode, then you just want to be in the dark. And Don definitely, he don't exercise boundaries, and he likes a little bit of the mischief, because what I noticed, in addition to the two ladies in his life going toe for toe, I noticed him sitting back and being glad that the friend was saying what she was saying, because he actually agreed with what she was saying, and he was glad that somebody else saw it too, and he felt validated. So it felt good to feel defended in that moment. But what Don missed is that the real key, and especially once you rise to a certain level of manhood, there's two better options. One, if you see somebody doesn't appreciate you, is not treating you right, is walking all over you, you can leave. That's one option. You just exit the stage left because it's you don't see anything positive. But the other option is you exercise your voice for yourself, because the last thing I really want somebody to do for me, especially my friend, if it's somebody that I'm in a relationship with, I don't need them to be Geppetto for me. I don't need them to talk through me, for me. I should be the one saying it. So that's what I noticed with Don for sure in this scenario.
Thank you, Deacon. Worship leader Jay.
I concur. I'll add on to a little bit to it. Of course, I said it last week. Ashley is a habitual victim. We see how she flipped that at the end there. It turned it back to her being the victim somehow in that whole situation after she done put a whole threat on him. But at the same time, what Sean was saying, as a man, and I'm not a man, I'm just speaking from dealing with men. For a woman to be with you and expect you to be the lead. If I'm somewhat traditional, or if I want a man that is a leader, I need you to voice yourself accordingly when you need to. And I'm not saying jump in women's business. However, you need to be able to tell your friend that, hey, this is the woman I'm interested in. So, regardless of what we share, please have some respect for her. And vice versa. Hey, I don't know you that well. This is still, at the end of the day, my friend. I need both of you ladies to have respect for each other. And this is why Don's relationships keep getting worse and worse, in his words, because you're not standing up at the times and places that you're supposed to, yet you're letting people pile on you to the point that you're actually start throwing jabs at them. I don't know. I mean, I do understand some of us that are poets, we better off writing things down and saying how we feel and expressing it through words on paper. However, you have to be able to have those conversations and really sit there in that moment and self-regulate. And that's what both of these parties really need to do, is self-regulate in the moment. Ashley, with a friend, you could have self-regulated. Excuse me, sir. You want to be on camera? Say hi to everybody. Please just say hi. Say hi. Okay. Thank you. Now go on. Ashley, in the moment with the friend, that was your moment to regulate your emotions. Correct the friend where she needs to be corrected. She came in on 10. You don't have to match that energy. You always looking for somebody to match your energy. And this is what you come up against when you have a person that matches your energy, or you want to match theirs, and instead of fighting for love, now you fighting in the streets for whatever, like, I don't get that part. And Don, as a man, again, I'm not one, so I can't really tell you how, but the men here can confirm if I'm right or wrong. As a man, there are respectful ways to tell a woman, hey, please don't disrespect me. Don't raise your voice. Don't put your hands or whatever without all the name calling, the disrespect in return. It's like you lead. So through that leadership, you show her how you want to be treated. Literally, you teach people how to treat you. So you're telling her in this moment, hey, yes, you can talk crazy to me. I'm going to sit quiet until I start talking crazy back to you. No. As the man, you go ahead and correct it, stop it in the beginning and say, listen, we're not going to be talking crazy to each other. I respect you. So in return, I expect you to respect me. If you can't do that, let's go our separate ways. And then my conclusion, that's what I think these two need to do at this point. Just go their separate ways.
We get deeper into them. We're going to shift it because I want to end on them so you can have a real deep discussion. Let's get the rest of them out of the way. Now, Vern and old boy Tabari. Vern got to see the family of Tabari and was involved. So let me play a little bit of a clip for you guys.
Us both being entrepreneurs, so it does take balance. And me and Tabari had that conversation, and we realized too that okay, you know what? Maybe it's trying to restructure some things in our life. Not saying we have to change per se, but just kind of modify them and be more conscientious of.
Okay, so Tabari, and obviously Vern sit in front of the family. Some people like to see the interaction between the family and Vern because they thought that it was a nice interaction. Want to get your perspectives. What did you guys think of Vern Tabari situation in this episode? Mom not getting involved, telling him about the communication aspect too. What's your thoughts in this place as well? Deacon, I know you opened your mic earlier on, so I know it's for a different topic, but if you can open us up again, just say your thoughts.
Yeah, it's gonna be a no for me, big dog, because this ain't going nowhere. Vern is faking the funk. She don't like him. And because even before they even got to the interaction with his mother, she said, her words, I wouldn't be bringing my mama to meet him. I'm not ready. Or she might not have said mama. She said, I wouldn't bring my family. I'm not ready for my family to meet Tabari. Vern. Yeah. And then she's, in there chopping it up with the mama. Talking about, oh, I can see I'm a mama's girl. I can see I can fit in with your family. That was a sharp turn. That was a sharp turn when 10 minutes ago you said you wouldn't even bring him to meet your mama or your family. And now you see yourself fitting in. What changed, ma'am? So I'm not liking it. She was just sitting in front of Mizell trying to see what he was about until she got egg on her face. And now you over here talk about you can see yourself fitting with his family. Yeah, it's a no for me, big dog. It's a no for me. I ain't feeling it.
Worship leader, talk to me, Jay.
Yeah, I was with Sean on the confusion because she was saying that she is curious on who you bring. It's important to know who you bring, but she not gonna bring her friends and family. Though she finds that it's important that a man brings certain people so you can find out enough about them, and then fell in love with the mama, which is fine. That's cool. You can be friends with the moms, but then I was like, how does that make you turn back on him and be like, well, you know what? I look at you differently. I like you more or whatnot. I just didn't understand it. I didn't understand that, but there's a lot to Vern I don't understand because she's in the house, but she outside, and it's a lot of confusion, and that's what she keeps bringing to the table. And for me, I know it's a thing with the mama, she gonna stand for her son or whatever, but what you want the mom to do? You say he got a communication problem. What you want her to confirm that he has a communication problem? Because that's basically what she did. She say, hey, look, he busy. Figure it out. Make yourself busy too. And I get it. Right now in this space, one, they're new. So it's like we should be spending a lot of time to get to know each other. But at the same time, if Vern was in her element with all her businesses and her jobs and her children, would she be having the same amount of time? Would she put the same amount of time and effort into them? Right now, you don't have nothing to do. You're not at your job. You're not, in your city. So you got a lot of free time right now where this man is where he is and he has his things going on. When we get back into our regular routine, what is it going to be then? Are you going to show him the same thing? Are you going to give him that grace? Are you going to be up there texting him still in between all your hair appointments and the hookah lounge and your daughters and all this? Are you going to make it time when you got the time to say, hey, I thought about you today? So sometimes when we going off on people, we got to look at ourselves and say, hey, are we doing all we can too? Because you didn't want to pick up the phone. You got the most free time. Pick up the phone. Now, if he don't text you back after you say, hey, listen, I'm just trying to reach out to you, then we might have a problem. Like, hey, I'll text you. Well, now we can go back and forth. Did you get the text or not, like Ashley and I? But before then, at least it says something like, hey, just wanted to make sure you're having a good day. Just thought about you. It's okay. Let a man be pursued a little bit too. It's fun in the chase. Trust me, ladies. The chase goes back and forth. We can do it both ways. You start getting a little kinky after a while. Y'all stay with me. Stay with me. Okay. Back to the church. Back to church. Back to you, Coach.
No, I mean, listen, I agree with you guys. I think when I see Vern and Tabari, I think as a comment put up there, she enjoys the stability, but without the panache, the swag, the little bit of danger, I think she won't be able to stay very long. I think Vern is in that space where she wants people to desire her, and so she's willing to entertain someone like Tabari for now. And I think she might, sometimes you play this game where you're like, I see the stability, I see the security, I see the safety, but maybe I want to play a little bit more, just a little bit more before I settle down. Sometimes you can see a good thing, but you want to play a little bit more before you settle down. I wonder if that's where Vern's head's at the moment. Because the way she was interacting with the mom, she really did like it. She really did appreciate the interaction with the mom. So clearly, that really did hit home with her. And so I get that, but I there's just something missing for me. There's a spark that's not necessarily just there, as well. But yes, going for it, Deacon, you're going to say.
Yeah, and I just have a major problem, and I don't think that I'm not sure if they're going to say, oh well, production told us to bring up stuff from the past and things like this, but come on now. In dating, you meeting somebody's family for the first time, you don't go negative. You don't go negative. Like, I just don't get it. Like, why would you, and all of them except for my girl, the dark horse Sharice, all of them did this incorrectly. You adding in, oh, we got a problem with communication, what we gonna do about this? His mama don't know you. His mother is not going to take your side, sis. She's what like, I just don't understand. What's the expectation when you sit up in front of somebody's mama and she's a whole mother herself, right? So with several kids, and one of them is a young adult. How would you take it if somebody sat up in front of you and wants to tell, just meeting you, mind you, just meeting you, and they're gonna tell you what your child did wrong? Ain't no way. So why are we doing this? Why do we think that that's going to go over really well with anybody? I'm not sure. Like, I think that is a very immature perspective. It is, there's a word for it, and I can't think of the word, but it's just like you're not even thinking. You're just talking, and you're not putting thought to what you think. Because if you literally think that you just met somebody that is closely connected to this person, and they're going to see you within 30 seconds, get in your side, and then allow you to talk badly about the one of their most cherished loved ones. Like, how do you expect the rest of that conversation to go? Yeah, you're 100% right. He should have texted you. He's not doing good with communication. Come on now. Give me a break. It's not going to happen.
Here, I'll add on to Sean. Here's some cool questions you can sit there and say. How often do you two talk? Do he call you a lot? Is he okay with expressing himself? You can still find out what his communication style is by not being, like Sean say, in the negative. There's positive ways. So I don't know. Me personally, I just don't feel it from Vern. Something's missing for her. She's not saying what that something exactly is, and she's trying to draw it out of him. Maybe she sees that it's in him and she's trying to pull it out. I don't know what it is, but it'd be better if she express herself and communicate and just say, hey, I like this particular type style, this particular type swag. I know we get on Ashley because she go too far with it, but I think Vern don't do enough of it. Like, hey, I like this particular way about
felt good. This felt good.
So if she does that, maybe he can give it. She keeps saying, I'm giving you a chance to make it corrected. You're still here, so you can fix whatever. But what is he fixing? That's the thing. Does he even know what he's fixing? Do you know what he needs to be fixing? So I don't know what she wants from the man. To me, he's pretty much a good guy. Seems like a good catch. He seemed like a type of dude that don't play about his woman. When you make sure you're his woman, he don't play about you. You know what I'm saying? Got a good head on his shoulders. Mom seems like she's good for now. We don't know. She could change later, but she seems good now. Decent family, respectable. I don't know what Vern wants. I don't know.
The other thing I don't like about this, and it plays out more with Ashley and Don, but Vern did it too, is, you're going to put me on thin ice because you don't like something about me. That's the part, yeah, I'm not with that crap. Don't play that. You know what I mean? Like, if I make a mistake or something happens and, we navigate in that in the early stages of us getting to know each other, fine. But don't constantly think you're going to put me on ice or over my personality or who I am as a person. She's, I want you to be more serious. Okay. So I'm on a week by week. I'm on a, when you doing a temp job, so I'm temporary and I'm constantly being out. Yeah, I'm on a PIP and I'm being constantly evaluated, right? So I'm in my 90-day warning period before it's gonna move to the next stage of corrective action. Thank you, Kojo. You put me in my manager bag with that. Like, I'm constantly on guard. I'm on edge. That's no way to be in a relationship. I wouldn't want it. It wouldn't be for me. Where that's when we say, for anybody, man or woman, either you got to like me like I am, or it's a no. because what I'm not going to be doing with you is going to be evaluated week by week, day by day, for you to say, okay, you're a little more serious today. You're a little less corny in your dressing today. Yeah, it's a hell no. You can go on and get, okay? You can go on and get. We're ready to be done with this conversation. Forget about it, ready to move. I'm ready to be done with this conversation, because you ain't gonna put me on no timeline of what I need to change for you to just kind of like me a little. Meanwhile, she's looking at him, giving him side church Jesus hugs. Yeah, I'm good on that. Yeah, I'm good on it all.
Just want to pass the offering bowl to you, Sean. This is pass it over to you. It's clearly you need a love offering. Yes, Jay, go for it, Jay.
Whoa. Nah, Sean's spitting facts. I can't even be mad at it though. You know what I'm saying? And this is, like I said, this is where the times I really agree. If you don't want me, just let me go. You know, because this is really what it is at this point. You don't want him. You attached to his mom to find a reason to hold on to him. Ma'am, you're not gonna sleep with his mom. I hope not. Well, you know, if you do, that's your personal business. But I don't see that happening. Like, his mom is not gonna be in all your relationship, and you don't really want his mom in all your relationships. So that's not a good reason to hold on to somebody. Is I like your family. Just hold on to the family. We can be friends, so I can spend time with your mama. Like, I don't know.
Be like that. Now, there's obviously a part where they spoke, and it was a bit of a, you know, a moment as well. I will play it for you guys as well.
For Venetia to meet my family is
having you over to my place and my personal space. You know, that's me taking up. I feel like I'm rebuilding some momentum.
And slowly but surely, my walls are coming down.
I gotta see you in your element. That's not really considered like your element.
My element is home with my kids.
That woman don't like him. I can't even lie to you. She hates his cock. Yo, what do you see? Hey. Anyway, what did you guys think? Because they shared an intimate moment where they spoke about some trauma, you know, people passing, etc., etc. You know, it seemed like a lovely bonding moment. What do you guys think about that particular moment and that particular conversation? You know, apart from the fact that I think she hates him. I mean, I really do think you know, she's turned off by him. But what do you guys think?
I'm convinced at this point, Vern gonna say whatever when she don't like a person. She gonna say whatever the opposite is. She told Tabari that she stay up in these streets. She outside all day. Now she telling Tabari she inside with the house. She in the house with the kids. You know what I'm saying? And listen, don't get me wrong. Kids are a blessing at these times when you don't want to go out. Plenty days I use my daughter like I ain't got no babysitter. I can't get out. Like, it is what it is. And she was with her daddy. So so listen, kids will get you out of some mess. However, I don't know I don't know what game she's at, what she planned. I really feel like at this point, production is just making them stay with these people. Because everybody got an excuse for something, and I don't get it. You are an outside person. You always out there. Your best friend confirmed that you be outside doing your businesses, doing all of these things. Now you just at home with the kids. If somebody asks you what you like to do for fun, you don't know. Are you trying to find your life in somebody else? That's what it's giving me right now. Like, you're trying to figure it out still through somebody else. Or you just not interested in none of these people and you don't have no other polite way to say it on TV. I don't know. I'm confusion.
Yeah, any confidence on your last thoughts on this?
Kojo, I need you to put that up there again, because the thing that pisses me off is don't smile at me with no teeth. Because when he was talking about, wait, you got to pay it a little bit when he was giving her this big comp, you know, like it was a big deal to have her at the house, and she smiled with no teeth.
I have to find it behind the scenes.
When you smile with somebody with no teeth, that's that corporate smile. It's the corporate smile. It's the You know, that's nice. You know, somebody tells you, they give you a compliment, but you don't really like the person. You don't fancy them at all. They're like, oh, Jay, you look so nice today. Yeah, don't do that to me. I'm good. I take it back, actually. Actually, I'm sorry you came to my house. I'm sorry you came to my house. I'm sorry I dusted off my good table for you to sit down and play in my face like that. Because if you give me a smile and I don't see at least a little bit of your top teeth, then you don't like me. You don't like me. And then she keeps giving these canned answers. Where is she picking them up from? I'm at home with my kids. You ain't wearing nary an outfit that looks like you be at home playing with your kids, sitting in the house you sitting for the last goddamn 25 episodes. Ain't nothing you done worn look like you sitting in the house with nobody. Okay? So I need you to stop it. I'm sick and tired. I'm sorry.
Deacon. Let me pass that offering bowl to you again, because clearly you. Deacon said he's sick and tired of Sister Venetia in the church. Jay, I don't know if you want to add on to that. I mean, Deacon said.
I'm just gonna add an amen. Amen, brother.
Amen.
Pass the collection plate around.
Amen. We gonna turn to Sharice and Maurice chapter. So if you can open up your Bibles to Sharice and Maurice, we gonna go there. Okay, all right. We want to talk about Sharice and Maurice. Yes, this is a good chapter. We like this chapter as well too. All right, so we're gonna talk about them. Oh boy, had me laughing. All right, cool. So let's go to Sharice and Maurice. I'll get a clip for you guys as well, so we can talk about them, because they were quite an interesting combination as well this particular episode. So let me grab a clip for them. Here we go. Yeah, here we go.
Hearing her describe her dad and who she thinks he is, that just shows me that Maurice is someone that she loves and she values, and she wants to make sure that he's happy. Whoever I'm going to be with, it's important that I get along with their family, and I could tell how much Maurice means to them. Why do you think your dad is single? What he's looking for is not...
Because he's picky, but she fine though. All right, cool. So Sharice and Maurice situation. Want to know your thoughts on this couple? Obviously, Sharice is Deacon Sean's dark horse bet. I know we don't bet in the house of Lord, but Deacon has made some exceptions on this particular point. But he's saying that Sharice is his dark horse. And maybe, Deacon, you can share your perspective and your revelation as to why you believe that Sharice is this dark horse. Did you see a vision? Did you see something?
I've seen a vision. And my brother, I'll correct you. It's a spiritual wager. So it's not a wager in the flesh. It's a wager in the spirit realms. Okay, so we are willing to wage in the spirit realms that she is on the right path. You know, I feel like Sharice is on the right path. A smile just comes to my face with my top teeth showing when I see Sharice and how she is managing herself. Now, let's look. Will they make it to the end? You know, I'm no prophet. I don't pretend to be one. You know, I don't know, but I think I see the makings of some good stuff. Because first of all, you know, the way she engaged with that family was top tier. And Maurice's daughter, man, if she just had just a few more years on her, whoo! Next time we go to Houston, I'll be knocking on her door, because she is beautiful and has a beautiful spirit, beautiful smile, beautiful energy. You know, Coach, we were talking about that the other day. There is something about a woman with that energy and that the smile, the way, you know, the way they talk, they navigate a room, it just changes things, you know, it changes the atmosphere, you know? So I really was impressed by Maurice's daughter. Now on to Sharice and Maurice. I think Sharice figured it out. And I've been saying this, y'all was like, no, Maurice ain't it. He's dry, he's boring. No, this is a man that is a measured man. So he's just not gonna come all with it. You heard his own daughter. She ain't gonna lie for nobody to be like, oh, my dad is some great guy, get up on camera and say all this stuff that he's not. He is a good guy. He's loyal. He's giving. Sharice, no. And I think she finally wisened up. Now, I ain't saying Sharice is perfect, because I'm sure we're going to cover how her and Zadia went through what they went through. But in this interaction, I loved it. She did so well with his family. And Maurice's cousin, the daughter was actually more inviting and nicer than that cousin, because the cousin was like, nah, sis, we on the same wavelength, age kind of range. I'm watching you to make sure you're not taking advantage of my family member. And she dealt with her so nicely. She was so nice. This is what I like about him. These are the things I've seen. Tell me a little bit about this. Why is asking questions? Why do you think he's single? There's the way to get to things if you want to know. You ask questions. You're not accusatory. You don't bring up baggage like, oh yeah, because he wasn't talking to me 2 weeks ago. He could barely say a word. He don't know how to communicate effectively. What you got to say about that? No. Tell me why he's been single. Why do you think he's not with anyone? Tell me more about him. What do you think about him? Sharice, hands down, chef's kiss.
Deacon be speaking. Worship leader, talk to us. What do you see?
Well, I'll start off with this. Maurice, it was good to not see you in the suit this week, okay? I might have a little Ashley up in me, but it was good to see him in vacation clothes, baby. I was like, okay, he can wind down for vacation. And he looked actually totally different or whatnot. I'm not going to say it's a good difference, so we just leave it there. But he looked totally different, in my opinion. I'm with Sean on a lot of this. For Sharice, the one great factor about her is that she knows exactly what she wants. You know what I'm saying? She's going after a particular thing, and that's what she's going for. She has it to the look of the man, to the way he is. Now, he might not be 100% what Sharice wants. That's okay. She's willing to make the exception and go with it and figure out more. And that's a good start for a relationship. They got to get into more particulars. We haven't seen some. We see more dialogue between the two, but we haven't got into the real particulars of the deal breakers and what, those things look like for each person. And, how they see themselves really intertwined with each other's life. But we did get a lot more conversation out of him. I think he's more relaxed now with the cameras around and just more relaxed and comfortable with Sharice, which is also in turn making her more comfortable to be more open up and willing to share, which is good because this is the leadership that Don needs to practice. When you step forward in positivity, it helps your lady step forward in positivity too. If you're calm and collected, she can stay calm and collected as well. If she's willing to follow your lead. And so this is a good thing that's showing that Sharice is willing to follow somebody's lead, even though she keeps calling and he calls her a strong woman, an independent woman. But he doesn't try to dim her light about it. He doesn't try to take it away from her. And she doesn't do this. She doesn't say, she gives him the same respect. She doesn't say, oh, you always dress like this. Why you didn't come in a suit today? She didn't do all of that. She accepted him as he was, where he is. It definitely will grow in grease. Okay. Please flew me out. Let's try this thing. Somebody's chemistry will grow out there. But baby, okay, he's still keeping her in check. Like the scene later on when they get their nails done, I think it's when they get their nails done, and she's like, "Oh yeah, you look like the type that travels first class and this and that." And he looked at her like, "Okay, slow down, sis." Slow down. I do, but we don't just yet. So we'll get there. We'll get there in time. So he still can be able to put his foot down, but respectfully, I'll let you run amok a little bit, and stuff. And then when you get out of line, I just reel you back in calmly. You good, sis. And I like that for her. She needs that. From what we see of Sharice, that she needs that calm within her storm. And that's a good thing for her. And like I said, he might not be the Mr. 100%, but for where she is right now, I think he is a very good catch for her, especially out of all the prospects that we've seen in the past. He is the best thing that she has going. So, and he's willing to make those exceptions. Like she says, you don't communicate enough. He's opened up more. So there's compromises that are happening on both ends, and I like that.
Love those points. Any other additions, Deacon?
Yeah, no, I think Jay brought out some great points in terms of how that is the balance that's needed in a relationship. When you have somebody that compliments you, when you have two people that are the same, it's hard for somebody to come down when the other is up and vice versa. But I think they do a good job of balancing her, and she will appreciate that, because a lot of y'all ladies be telling us men that are a little more vocal, you want us to be quiet sometimes. So look, she got herself a quiet king, as C-Wade, coined the term. She got a quiet king, and that works for her, because when her energy is up here, or if she says something that's a little slightly out of pocket, he's gonna check her, but not too much. And I love that they talk, and I think somebody mentioned this. He talked about his experiences in the military, right? And he was able to articulate that. And he was like, but, no PTSD, I'm good. I've healed, from that experience, and I, was able to move on. Hey, I think now this is sometimes not everybody is going to give it to you all right up front. And especially on camera, we got to give him some credit. But the more they're going along and he sees, hey, there's an investment, we start to talk a little more. I'm really getting to know who the real Sharice is and not the representative. You'll get more of me. You'll get to see more of me. And that means a lot. If a man brings his daughter to meet you, that's a big deal, because that's very risky. It's very risky, because especially an adult daughter can eat you up. She can eat you up, and maybe not to your face, depending on her temperament, but behind the scenes, it could be to make it or break it. And he knows his daughter, and his daughter is a good, solid person. So that means he saw some value in her. But he did bring that cousin. And the cousin, I'm sorry, she looked like she was like, you got one wrong thing.
Now the cousin might be a little bit perturbed, because when they first came in and she was sitting on next to Ashley, and they was like this on top of each other, Ashley was doing all of this. So she was probably like, okay, you know what? I'm already on to it. Like, I need to go. Like, we're going to cut this, keep this short. So the cousin was like, I'm not about to play any more games. I've been rubbed wrong already. This is it. So, I mean, but you need that. And Shad, I'm as a daddy's girl. Okay, I'm a daddy's girl. So always my best interest is going to be my daddy first. True, I might go back to my dad later on and be like, yeah, no, not her or whatever. But I will talk high pleasantries of my daddy to that lady. Like, I'm trying to sell my dad. And she's her daughter's father. She's her father's daughter. So at that token, she is a salesperson, because she got to, just like he got to persuade a courtroom, she got to persuade whoever she going to persuade. In this case, is Sharice, to take her daddy. Please take your daddy, so he can stop calling me every 5 seconds and being all up in my business and worried about my life and stuff like that. Take him so he could just cash them checks when I ask for the trips, and he don't be asking who I'm going with, please. So she might be looking for an ally just to get rid of her daddy.
She want her daddy off the streets and out of her business, huh?
That's right. Get yourself together, sir. You got a little bit too much time for me,
Nah, I think he raised a good daughter, and he seems like a good guy though so far. He might be a little quiet and gonna make sure he gonna eat his meals, but that's what Sharice like. We let it be. To each his own.
We ain't mad at it. All right, we've reached halfway point. So those of you in the audience, thank you so much for joining us. We're at halfway point. So we've got 2 more couples to talk about today. Before we get further on to that discussion, do me a massive favor. Please like the live. There's over 500 of you guys in the room who are enjoying the content, and only 44 people have liked the live. Please like the live. It helps with the analytics. It also means that you guys are enjoying the show. So let's get the likes up. Let's hope we can get to at least 300, 400 likes in the next few moments. So please, if you haven't done so already, please click on the like button whilst you're there. It just helps, again, with the analytics. And it means, you're enjoying the actual show. We've got 2 more couples to talk about. We've got Zadia and Cam, and we've got Ash and Don. Spectacular issues there as well. So we've still got a great show to keep going. If you haven't done so already, like, share, subscribe, and Click on that bell button for notification of the uploads. Don't forget, you can also join our Discord, Patreon, link down below. And you can also join our membership. It's £1, $1. Support the channel. If you like what we do here, join the family as well. You can see people in green. They have joined the family. They are part of the team. And they love the content here as well. And you can also join them. It's £1, $1. And finally as well, wintertime has come. So there's merchandise out there. Put a hat on your head. Maybe get a jumper or a hoodie or a jacket so you can stay warm this winter. Because the weather outside is delightful. Okay, look at that, our good sis. I know Sean hasn't received this one yet, so I don't know what's going on there, but yeah, it seems like yours hasn't come, and it won't be coming at this rate. You're still in spiritual realms. But good worship leader there is showing you the greatness of that merchandise right there as well. So we look forward to seeing you guys who have joined and who are wishing to join as well. Let's get back into conversation. Shout out to Felicia, says she got her merch as well. Let's get back into conversation because, let's talk about Zadia and Cam. We've been watching the last few weeks, and I paused a lot of my communication about Zadia and Cam until maybe the last 2-3 weeks because I actually liked seeing them, and I actually wanted to see more first before I said anything. And so now we're at a point where the last 2 weeks or so, or last 3 weeks even, we've had the same conversation, and it seems to be around, Cam is hinting at Zadia, go and do your thing. Usually, when someone says, go and do your thing, they don't really mean it. I mean, go and do you. And really, when you go and do you, you go and find out. This isn't one of those situations, I don't feel like. I feel like he's actually genuinely trying to tell her, go and do you. Go and. He said it in several different ways. Go and join the process. Don't quit the other dates. When she asked him a direct question about being patient, even, and finding her patience in the conversation, he basically said, hey, you know what? Yeah, I mean, you can be patient, but I'm just saying to you, just you go ahead and do your thing, basically. So, clearly this is something that he's trying to let her know, but she hasn't necessarily picked up on. So we're gonna play a little bit of a clip, and then we'll get into the conversation for you guys.
But do you feel like that's to his detriment?
No, because of the people that surround him, right?
Okay.
So like my family and I, we kind of keep him grounded every now and again. Like if we have a get together or a birthday party, Cam, come through, bro. Close computer, come through for like an hour. I do love my work. I feel like I'm a very lucky person.
All righty. So, want to get you guys' thoughts. Want to get your thoughts on Cam and Zadia. Whoa, why are you guys laughing like that? Deacon and worship leader, why are we smiling like that? Why are we smiling like that? In fact, it looks like, we may need a little communion here. This is the case, the way you guys are smiling at this situation. And don't worry, I got you, okay? I got my little red wine here. I got my little bread here from Jesus Christ, the body, because some people do need to have the communion for strength. You know what I'm saying? Some of you are weak in the body because you have no strength. You need to take the communion. That's not my words, that's Paul. What's your thoughts, guys? Tell me. What's your thoughts?
I guess I'll kick it off because Sean been kicking it off already lately. And I know he's going to come in like a wrecking ball and finish it. So I said it last week. She should have just let him go. Let him be in the background. Let him do his thing. And you venture off and see, if there's something else out there for you. But I get people don't want us to mention that maybe they doing some things off camera because that's a narrative we really don't know. But however, we all like to add in narratives we really don't know. And the only reason why you keep bringing a man that keeps telling you, I'm trying to go, is because you like when he coming. So there's that. Okay, I don't know what the issue is, but she should have let him go. His face said it when she said, I'm going to keep you. His heart dropped and he stunk back. He was like, oh, okay. Then the friend pretty much said it is like he has people that keeps him grounded. Code word means he has people that understands he out here doing what he doing and we don't bother him. We just hit him up to take breaks every so often from the work. He is very focused. He is very driven. He has once he sets a goal, he doesn't stop and do anything else until he sees that goal through. Unfortunately, love just wasn't that goal. He was open to it, as he says, but it's not his end goal right now. And for Zadia, that's the problem, because what she wants is love. And I get standing by somebody's side and, you know, waiting it out, being patient while they figure it out and get their life together and all that. But that's great when we're in our 20s. In our big grown age, our patience is a little bit more set up a little differently. So for Zadia, that waiting around for too long, this many years, and it's going to keep getting pushed back, it seems like, because if he doesn't finish this goal, even within the time frame that he set, he's going to set another time frame. So I just need her to take the hints. I don't know if this is production making them stay in it. Just take the hint. If this is not something that you truly feel like you can be patient for, and if you want more things in the now, you might just have to sacrifice this relationship and let him go. I don't know if she's lying to herself at this point, saying that she can handle it or whatever, but every single conversation out of this man's mouth is, I am working. I got things I need to complete. I need to be free. Let him be free.
Go for it, Deacon. Thank you. Thank you.
So if you will oblige me, because you so inspired me when you made that comment about the flesh, I have a scripture for y'all. The scripture is Matthew 26:41. And this is where Jesus tells his disciples, watch and pray that ye not enter into temptation. The spirit indeed is willing, but the flesh is weak. Okay, so do not enter into temptation, because this is what happens. Because although the spirit may be willing, the flesh is weak. The flesh is weak. So once you listen, and I'm not going to talk about what happened or what didn't happen or what they didn't do or what did not happen or how they might not have gotten biblical, shall we say. But what happens is when we are so enticed and enthralled by somebody, and sometimes we can't see the forest for the trees, right? It's because our flesh is so weak, we're not reading the room. And when we don't read the room, we miss the signs, right? We miss the exit entrance. We always need the exit door, right? Because we anybody that knows, most of us men especially, but you know, ladies nowadays too, you know, when you enter into a place, you're checking for the emergency exit. You want to know where your exits are when you walk into a place, because you need, in case there's danger, you got to be able to go. This situation is too new. And she does not know where the exit sign is, because her flesh is too intertwined into Cam. And I think that is the main issue here, because if she was checked in and just logically looking at everything that this man has said to her, now I'm going to get to Cam. I'm going to get to him. But if this is about Zadia and her dating process, if she was checked in, she would know and I'm not saying he doesn't like her. He doesn't want her. He does like her. Obviously, he likes Zadia. Okay, she's a beautiful woman. He likes her. We see the connection. We see the energy. We saw them holding hands. We saw how that dog was very friendly with her. And yeah, he likes her. They're spending time together. Okay, I'm not going to speak on the capacity of that time, but they like each other. They spend good time together. I don't think that's what I'm debating. She can't have it her way. It's not Burger King. She can't have her way, but that's because, again, she's too caught up in the emotional part of it. It's her flesh saying, yes, I found somebody that I like. I found somebody that's the one for me, that I can see everything. And she's just going full speed ahead. And then she's trying to do the tweaks. She's trying to do the tweaks. And this is, again, she does it just like Ashley did, just like Vern did a little bit. She talked to the friend, and he was saying the thing that he liked the most about his friend was his drive, how he goes after things, how he's focused. And she said, is that not to his detriment? All right, so his boy just sat up here and talked about all the great things that he likes about his friend. And you think you just met him in 2 minutes, that you're going to tell him the thing that he just picked out to you that he liked the most is actually something that's detrimental for him, and that he's going to agree with you. Ma'am, I need you to stop. You're in your flesh. She's weak. I need you to be strong, and not in the way that you're just fighting strong, but strength in separating those two things before you get too emotionally invested, and then you're going to get hurt. And now to end with Cam, he's playing what we call the do-si-do with Zadia. I put my left foot in, I put my right foot out, and then I shake it all about. He's just back, forth, in and out. I've been there as a former nice guy. You see something that you like, you really can't give her what she wants, but you want to hold on. So you go in, you go out, you tell her a little bit of truth, just enough truth where you're not caught off guard. Cam needs to stop playing the do-si-do with Zadia. So that's where he's wrong. And I'm going to land my plane. And Araba, it is so nice to see you, sis.
Thank you, Deacon. Welcome, Araba. Talking about Zadia and Cam and, their interactions. The first interaction when they had with a friend. So want to know your thoughts, prayer warrior.
Hey y'all, I joined at the right time.
Indeed.
Well, first and foremost, it's good to see you guys. I finally caught a live after how long has it been? It's been a while.
It's been too long.
It's been too long.
You've been away from the community, but we're back.
I know. Listen, Ready to Move has been a doozy. And I feel comfortable saying this because I've personally shared this with Zadia. So she knows how I feel. But my heart broke for her when she chose Cameron because I felt like it gets to a certain point in your life where you have to understand that if it's not an enthusiastic yes, then it's a no. Like this man, I'm gonna get on Cameron for how he has been navigating the situation. But I think one thing that we have to do is take accountability for when we accept less than. So that's what was super frustrating for me, to watch her week after week after week after week kind of absorb what he's been saying and then will nice it up into something that it never was meant to to be. Every time Cameron's on camera, I'm hearing how busy he is. I'm hearing how much time he does not have to spend with you. And the time that he does spend with you, he's thinking about the money he could be making. That would piss me the hell off. You're not about to remind me each and every time that you're in front of my face that you could be doing something better. So I should be glad that you grace me with your presence. That would piss me the hell off. And I'm trying to figure out so bad, what is it with Cameron that Zadia finds so attractive? Because so far on screen, I see nothing that excites me or would draw me to this man. Sir, you're getting money, cool, but you have 70-11 jobs and cannot find a lane and just stay there. To me, that's unsettling. That's number one. Number two, if you don't have any time to be here, you should not be here. You're not about to guilt trip me into feeling bad when you have every opportunity to just do what you got to do. Continue to build, continue to grow, continue to pour into yourself. But don't come here and then make me feel bad for something you signed up for. I don't know, I'm not feeling that. And I think what's disappointing is, sis, this man is using the oldest excuse in the book, right? I very much so believe that he's doing 30-11 things, right? But a man who truly wants you will be doing 30-11 things and will still find a way to prioritize you, right? He may not be able to give you all the time in the world, because men who make money, their time is far and few in between, right? However, I think a man who truly is seeking after you will not use every opportunity to remind you how much of an inconvenience you are. And that's just my personal opinion. And so my heart really broke for her when she still chose this man after he's told her in 10 different languages, body wise and verbally, sis, this is not it. So And then to get on Cameron, I feel like he's we letting it slide with this brother. We really letting it slide with this brother. Like, I have very low tolerance with men who play this game. Very low tolerance. Like, they will use every bit of you because they have access to you, knowing good and well they're going to waste your time, waste your childbearing years, all because they are getting something from you. I don't know what that something is, right? Some people are speculating that it's sex. Some people, they'll have their speculations. I'm not going to say what mine is, right? But whatever he's getting something, and that's why he hasn't fully cut off the access. However, you are not a good person because you are not being honest and transparent. Just say you change your mind about this. Just say, hey, like, this was fun, this was cool, but personally, this does not work for me anymore. And when it comes to men like that, I just don't have any tolerance for it. I don't have any patience for it. And I really do hope that Cam can be a man and truly just be honest with Zadia and say it, because she clearly needs to hear it. She clearly needs to hear the words, I do not want to be with you, for us to move on. So that's just my opinion.
Now, let me say, because I like that last point you landed on right there, because he needs to say the words, because here's what is happening, because he's not saying the exact words, is he's saying, I don't have time, I don't have time, I don't have time, but showing up, which translates in her mind, you're making time for me. That's what a problem is right there, because he's creating this problem by saying, I don't have the time, yet he keeps showing up. So that tells her, well, oh, you're prioritizing me. It's not the truth, though, because every time she chooses you, your face says something different. You don't light up. You don't get happy. Like you said, it's not a immediate yes. It's not that happy yes or whatever. It's oh, okay. When his boys say, oh, he got time for a relationship, he said, yeah, like, bruh, you tell your boy everything. So why don't you just tell him that, this is not actually the girl I want. I've been telling her I'm busy, busy, busy. So then he won't fumble the ball when he get here, because it's not what you want. You want somebody to speak up for you and do all these things. And you want Zadia to let you go, but just tell her, because in her mind, what you're doing is translating to something else. I want to say she's lying to herself and all of this, but you have brought out a good point. If a man is constantly telling me he's busy, 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 but shows up to everything I'm doing, I feel like you're putting me first. If that's not really what your intentions are, please just tell me that. I'm grown. And so now I have to shift a lot more of the blame back on Cam. I want to just say Zadia is delusional and all this, but I can see where that translation could come from.
Deacon.
Yeah, I want to just thank Gracie, because I was on my my pastoral deacon role, and I called it the do-si-do. It's the hokey pokey. So that's what Cam is doing. It's the hokey pokey. The do-si-do is another Southern type of dance. He's doing that too.
I'm about to say they about the same. In this case, they about the same.
It's about the same. The lyrics I used is for hokey pokey. So just I stand corrected. I'm with you. And I think that's the unfortunate part. And I think, like, when we truly like being serious and look at relationships, it's usually not just, oh, this one person is out here abusing one person and somebody is getting led astray, right? It takes two. That's what that old expression, it takes two to tango, right? Because Zadia is in her bag about whatever she's attached to with Cam, and Cam is telling her just enough but not enough, right? He's not closing it by really just saying what he needs to say. Now, to some of us, because we have the benefit of a 360 view and not living in the situation, being Zadia and Cam, we could say he said all he needed to say. And is that true? Okay, sure. But I think, like, she just really has to step out, hear what he's saying, and then he just kind of needs to, because he sees what happens, right? He will tell her that lesson. she gets conflummoxed, right? Because it catches her off guard because they'll have a good conversation, just like it happened in this episode. And she's like, wait a minute, how did that turn to that? Because he's trying to tell you you're getting too attached. Every time she like because Zadia, this is the mistake that she's also making, because yes, could there be a chance that they work? And I think this is the hope that people hang their hats on in relationships like this. Well, it worked for Sarah. Well, it worked for Keisha around the corner. Well, my cousin's sister's best friend, they did it, and she was with him, and he didn't want to move, but he moved for her. Okay. And I could walk across the street, and I could walk into 7-Eleven. I could choose those lucky numbers, and I might just hit the Powerball. But what are the chances? 1 in how many millions? Okay, so we can't cast our hopes on, these things that are just pie in the sky when we know, that the reality is probably not gonna work. We cast our cares on Jesus, right? We put our hopes in him, not in human. So if I want to come full circle back to where we started with the scriptures, we don't cast our cares and our hopes into man, because what man is going to do, and I'm not talking about the gender man, I'm talking about mankind. What man is going to do is what serves them the best. We are selfish at our core. Human beings are selfish. So we're going to do what suits us the most. So if you want to invest all of yourself in thinking that you're going to be that infinitesimal chance, then this is the risk in the game that you play. So that's where I feel this is. But he does, like, if he just really, really, really wants to be plain, he could say, look, baby girl, if they are being intimate, it's a big if, we don't know. We're not in their bedroom. It looks like it could be, but if it's the case, he should just be like, hey, we can continue to have fun, but I'm not going to be in a relationship. It's just not going to happen. I'm not moving. You're not moving. I'm not sure what you think you may say to me to change my mind. I enjoy your company, but I don't want a relationship. That's it. And just back up. And then sometimes, like what a lot of guys do, and I've probably done this once, is just you don't even give that, if you want to have fun with me, then you just let them go. I'm not the one for you. We need to end this. Now that's the big cojones move. When you just say that and just cut the ties, which is probably what he kind of has to do, because she keeps saying, well, I think I can work. I think I can adapt. He probably is just going to have to just buckle up and just say, you know what, it's probably best we go in the different ways, because I'm just going to continue to hurt you.
I think people are not used to love being easy. I think people are not used to being with someone who chooses them outright. And I feel like that's why they tolerate the half foot in, half foot out type of people, right? Because like when you've been dealing with people who they sort of kind of choose you, like they find you attractive, they'll hang out with you, but they haven't really made the effort to make you guys exclusive and introduce you to the family. It's like, it's enough, right? It's enough to keep me. And I think that's what we're seeing here. Unfortunately, I don't know if Zadia truly knows what it's like to really be chosen. Because if she did, she wouldn't be accepting this. He's not choosing you. He's not. Like, he's doing enough to like, oh, let's keep it fun. Let's keep it light. Let's hang out. But he's not, yeah, you're the one for me. Like he brought his best friend out of, like, you know what I'm saying? Like I feel like people have to get used to the fact that it doesn't have to be this difficult. You don't have to work so hard to convince someone. It shouldn't be that difficult. If anything, leave it up to that person to make the decision on you. You don't have to do acrobatics. You don't have to change the way you look. And we're going to get on the Don and Ashley situation. You don't have to do much to yourself. If someone wants you, you are going to know. And you know that she's not sure because she often asks, how do you feel about me? Do you think that I could be the one? Like that right there tells me like he's not giving you 100%. He's giving you maybe 40, 38. He's giving you enough to keep you, but like it has to be 100%. It has to be. And I really want better for my sisters. I want my sisters to know, like, yo, if it's not an enthusiastic yes, you don't have to go for it. So
I just really, really wish she just let him go so we can just, for her to know, because like you're saying, Araba, I feel, I also feel like she just never been in a position where she's really been chosen. Because if you have, you would, like you said, either know what it is and what it feels like, or know how to let somebody go to see what they do when they're not obligated to be there for you. Right now, he's under contract. He may not know how contracts work. He might not know his rights in the contract and assume that if I don't show up, I'm going to have a consequence behind me. So I'm going to keep showing up because he's telling literally everybody, including staff, hey, this is too much. And if you just let him go, if he shows that he's still putting in effort, and I mean, personally, I like to go off of people's actions more so than their words, but actions don't always prove people right either. But if that gives me something to see that you're actually putting in the effort when nobody's behind you telling you, you have to, you must be here, show up there, do this, it's going to be a consequence if you don't. When you have no pressure on you and you choose me, that means something to me. I just kind of really, really wish she'd have just let him go last week because she wouldn't be hurting herself. Asking these questions, do you like me? How do you feel about me? Because you put yourself in a position to be hurt every time you ask those questions to somebody because you just really don't know what's going to come out their mouth. So if you're not built a certain way, I would do everything in my power to stay away from having to ask those questions and go off of what you're showing me, how you feel about me. And I need it validated by what you tell me later on. But I don't want to be having to ask you, do I like you? Do I make you happy? Are you like, now I'm trying to do everything to appease you instead of being myself. Yeah. I'll leave it there. That's where I'm at.
I mean, I'm gonna tell you the truth. I know, because you guys have done a great job of actually being very eloquent. So I'm gonna take the sledgehammer out and I'm going to knock it out of the park. We need Zadia to stop believing in her own delusion, because it is delusion, right? And the delusion is because of whatever's happening behind the scenes. Yes, maybe sex is a part of it, maybe it's not, right? But the reality of the situation is you believe your own delusion. And I'll tell you why. This brother has made it clear. It's just not finalized. We talk about, if I've dealt with women before in the past, right? And they'll let you know, like, and I always call it what we call taster questions, right? I'll call it hanging out the fish and getting to see if there's anybody going to nibble. You might say to a girl, oh, I love you, And she'd be like, I've told you to stop saying I love you, right? Now, she's letting you know, don't do that ish. Sometimes you drop the, oh, but I'm feeling you. I would love to be in a relationship with you. Yeah, hey, stop that, right? What they're telling you is stop having those delusions of grandeur about me and you because it doesn't exist, right? Now, they haven't told you outright, I don't want to be in a relationship with you or anything, but they've told you in some certain sense, don't go there, right? And they're hoping not to get to the point where they have to tell you, I don't want you, because once I say that, it's actually really hard to come back from. The relationship really does suffer. Once the person tells you, I don't want you like that, the relationship can't come back from that, I mean, would any of us go back into a relationship with somebody who said they didn't want you at the time? No. But if you do the easy letdown, there's always a chance to come back. We can always lie to ourselves and make it a beautiful fairy tale. We're like, you know what? It didn't work out at a point in time because, I was working, I was busy, you had to do your thing, Once someone makes it absolutely 100% clear, there's no going back. Because there's no way you can go back and tell your girls or your boys that, yeah, in the beginning, she told me absolutely no. And then I changed up. No. It's not good. So there is some, she is buying into it because she wants it. And sometimes this is why the Bible tells us in James that you're not tempted by some external force. You're tempted by what's within you. What you want and what you desire is what's drawing you there. Because, and that doesn't mean that Cam doesn't get no smoke. He does deserve, and I think you guys are giving him the correct smoke, that he could be far more direct, right? But I guess maybe he's also thinking too, I don't ruin the relationship I have, because it's also hard to be friends after that too. I can't be a friend after this, or I can't be cool with you after this, because once I tell you I ain't want you like that, you're going to take some major offense to it. And it's really hard to come back from that place. And I get looked at as a really bad person, a really mean person, when in reality, I've actually told you in 4 or 5 different ways, actually, go about your business. Go and join them. Don't quit the dating. Hey, why are you quitting the dating? Like, he's told her on 3 or 4 occasions, and her face has changed on 3 or 4 occasions. The first time, I told you guys already, my heart broke for her too. I did. I felt some type of way, because when you see someone smiling and like really enjoying the presence, and the person tells you, yeah, continue your dating. When she told him, oh, there'll be more time for us to date, and he said, yeah, don't do that. Like, don't do that. Continue dating. I saw the face, how it dropped, and you can see the disappointment that she has in her face right there. But what she's done is reinforced herself again and said, the little breadcrumbs he's given me, I'm going to pretend as if that's an opportunity. And I used to do it when I was younger. I used to do that. When I was 18, 19, I used to do it. And it's not about age. It's about maturity in that area of being honest about what value you hold for yourself. I used to do that. Girls that you find attractive and pretty, and they don't message you for 3 weeks. But when they message you in that 3rd week, you're like, ooh, baby, have a little bit of a conversation. It lasts for 5 minutes. They go away again, right? You're sad again. And then they come back in another 2 weeks time. And you're like, well, maybe. And it's because you are so wanting it so bad that you're willing to actually ignore what's actually really happening in front of you. And so you're chasing, the wind in that sense. So I don't want him to, I had to think about it. When I heard you guys speak, I was like, you know what, you're right. But then a part of me also thought to myself, if this relationship is to continue afterwards, let's say it's not him being dark. I'm saying it, if we don't know, he probably is being a bit dark, right? Let's say he doesn't have bad intentions. He just doesn't want a relationship to get to a point where you can't come back from. I would understand why you don't do it that way. Now, I do believe there's probably a bit of darkness in there. He knows he's enjoying. Okay, because if you know you don't want a relationship to go anywhere, then we haven't confirmed it, allegedly, yeah, then you go for D either. You know what I mean? If you want the relationship to continue and to have and to go to another destination, and you can't keep supplying the D, and especially if it's good, you can't keep supplying it because that's just gonna mess up things. So you gotta pause that. You know what I mean? So that's something that he has to be aware of. And if he is doing that and he wants the relationship to continue, bro, the giving the D or whatever you're doing behind the scenes, because you're doing something, because old girl is hooked, you gotta stop that too. So I do believe he has to be accountable on that aspect if he's doing some things behind the scenes. Someone said that they discussed going to ATL as well. I hope they didn't discuss that, because why are you discussing that when you know that listen, if Cam gets with her, he's gonna regret it, because you were not sold on her. Because if he was, he would have gone after her. I'm telling you, with all your business in your air, you would have gone after it. Many men have had so many things going on in their life. They meet the one, they're like, you know what? She can't miss out on this. I'm going to collect it right now. You just don't want it, bro. You know what I'm saying? And that's okay. You don't want it. That's okay.
Yeah, I think, listen, he said it in so many words. And he said maybe in a year or two. And that's, I mean, when somebody says that to you, and again, I think that probably where she is getting re-pulled back in is because, we're spending time and we're still doing things together. But on the other hand, what he told her is, yes, I have spent time with you, because he said that like 2 episodes or so ago. He says, but I feel that is taking time away from me doing some of the other things that I want to do. I enjoy spending time with you, but when I do spend time with you, I feel a pull and I feel like it takes me away. If this is somebody that's all about their purpose, and he's so focused on his business ventures and everything else that he has going on, and he tells you that, yes, I will spend time with you, I do enjoy spending time with you, but it takes me away. So that means, where does he really want to be? He wants to be somewhere else. So you got to hear what he's saying. And I think that is the tough part, because she's like, well, when we get together, it's connection, there's fireworks. And listen, she stepped on Sharice's toe, and Sharice opened up Pandora's box. No pun intended, you know, and kind of told what was going on a little bit behind the scenes. So, hey, you guys have the energy going on. She has to, it's being clouded. And that's what she's not able to hear what he's saying to her about the time that they spend together. And that's the unfortunate part, right? Because I think that they were saying, like, she did an interview, Zadia must have done an interview with Crystal XO and said that whole comment about they've discussed moving to Atlanta. Zadia, I just want to let out a collective sigh. Like, come on. Like, I could talk about moving to Germany tomorrow. I can talk about a lot of things, you know, but until I sign a lease, until my bags are packed, until I've really done some collective movements that really show you I'm willing to do that, yeah, don't get lulled in. I just do need her to be accountable to a certain degree, to just, you know, this a time where you just got to pull back and say, hey, listen, you know, no matter what's going on, I got to know, like, I got to see the full landscape of the situation.
Listen, I'm not in old girl bedroom or whatever. And I know Sharice didn't confirm what she wanted to confirm on camera. However, this is what happens when you grocery shop on an empty stomach. Because she was the one who told us at the beginning that she was selling a bit and he done bought it. So now here we are. You were supposed to hold tight to that. You were supposed to hold tight to that. I don't know how long you had planned on holding tight, but you should have held tight. And, you know, listen, speculations, allegedly, if y'all did something, this is why you're in this predicament right now. You know, you can't just be jumping. You can't be going from none to good, like, or great. You know what I'm saying? You go to great. You ain't trying to let great go. Like, so now you can't let it go when he's saying, hey, listen, it's been fun. It's been real. I got things to do. I don't know. Like, if you're on a mission and your focus is to have an actual man or a woman, and you on this path of not doing anything, just take the Sierra approach. Just keep it out. Just keep it out for as long as possible, because it really does confuse you. It really does, especially if you haven't been getting any for a while, and to just like get like something that is just like possibly aligned to what you like physically. Oh yeah. Yeah, that's a bad combination. So stay on Sharice's course. Maybe she should have been a little bit more like Sharice and blocking everybody that came up to her. You know what I'm saying? And she'd be able to hear Cam out. And he probably wouldn't be in the position of saying, hey, I ain't got enough time. He probably would still be thirsting after there a little bit more.
I'll just add this little bit of advice and we can, you know, continue. But from a girl who has experienced this multiple times, take it from me, when a man tells you, I don't really have the time right now, he's lying. So just being transparent, I found myself in that situation maybe 3 times. And whenever they told me, oh, you know, wait for me a little bit. And when I got tired of waiting, in a few months they were married. In a few months they were in a new relationship. In a few months they were with the person they told me not to worry about. So this is why I'm saying when it's not a yes, hell yes, I choose you, trust and believe they don't want you. They don't want you. They've seen something, and it's not to say that I'm a bad person, that anything's wrong with my character, but there's men who I've dated who is just, we weren't aligned. And that's okay. I wish they would have been honest with me. I wish they would have said outright, I just don't want to choose you, but they didn't, right? And I had to learn the hard way how to read in between the lines. I had to learn the hard way how to trust patterns and actions over words, right? I had to look at consistency. I had to look at, is his is his actions, what he's doing matching up with what he's telling me? And if it doesn't, he's lying to you. So that's why I'm just like, girl, it's not about his businesses. It's not about the time he has. It's all about he just does not want to be here. And that's okay.
I'll just say that I think that sometimes that's when the gray area comes into play. Like, I don't think it's so like staunch, and I think that's what just makes it all the more wild is and difficult of a choice, because it's not like he there are parts of her that he likes, but the scenario they're actually in is a wild one, because she lives in DC and he's in New Orleans. So there's the long distance complexity to the relationship. And I think that's another thing. It's like sometimes when you like get started so quick and you've got a big obstacle in your way, and Zadia, because of her personality, she's like pushing that point. Sometimes that could turn a man off too, because we're like, yo, how are we going to be able to navigate in a relationship if the thing that is, you know, one of the most difficult things, you're trying to tell me to do something different? So again, his communication could be better for sure, but it's such a tricky, sticky situation. And another thing that just kind of makes me think like he's like working his way up to it. He's trying to a certain extent, because he said something to her when they went on that one-on-one date. He was like, I want you to be happy. So that tells me there's conversations happening, whether it's what he's sensing from her or what she's telling him behind the scenes, where he can feel and sense that she's unhappy about something. So he was like, I want you to be happy. So he's trying to tell her, don't mistake what we're doing when we're spending time to think like you're now getting what you want, because I just want you to be happy. And if it means you can't be with me and you need to explore the process, then that's what you have to do. Because it's kind of like, I don't want to keep hearing you nag and complain about what you want me to do, how you want me to move, where you want us to live together, how we're going to meet in a middle ground. So he might just say, yeah, we can pick it. Yeah, let's pick a point on the map, Atlanta. There we go. Yeah, I'm not going to move to DC, but I'll move to Atlanta. Because he's tired. He's tired of hearing it. And he wants to get to let's put on the sounds of lovemaking, you know? I'm sorry. I think that's what I think is happening.
Anybody else want to add anything else before we move on to Ashley and Don? Don't be afraid if you've got some more thoughts.
I like how you brought up the nuances of the situation, Sean, because I do agree. Sometimes not everything is black or white, but with these types of things, I don't believe in gray areas. I don't. And I say that because I feel like we've seen time and time again how, yes, some men they do like some qualities about you, right? But that's not what it's about. That's not what the matter is. The matter is, if bringing it back to Ready to Love season, I think it was 2, and what was her name? Divine. She was like, if you were to choose one person, me or Alexis, to ride off into the sunset with, who would you choose? You want that name said to be your name, and that's it. I'm not worried about the qualities. I'm not worried about if you like the way I dress. I'm not worried about what you can extract and leave and are you choosing me or not? Right? That's what's black and white. That's what's yes or no. So for me, I'm kind of just like, I don't give Cam any grace in that area, because I feel like just make it plain and clear. Like, yes, I think Zadia should be self-aware enough to know when someone is not choosing you, but at the same time, you're taking advantage of this woman. And I can't respect that. So I don't know, but that's just me though. I don't respect gray areas. Not no more.
The thing is there's going to be a gray area in this particular situation, because just like I said earlier, if he's telling me he don't have time yet constantly showing up, that creates that gray area. because now I'm confused. You don't have time, but you're here. If you're telling me you don't have time and you don't show up, kind of like Christian, there's no gray area. I don't need to create one. I don't need to make nothing up. I need to be serious and take that for what it is. But it's kind of hard, especially like for me, a person that's about to action. If you're telling me you don't have time, but you're showing up, that tells me you're making time. That creates that gray area that you need to be clear about. Like, hey, no, I really don't have time. We need to dead this now. Because that is now telling me you're compromising for me. So now what I got to do for you. And so that that's where I feel there's a bit of a gray area there.
But is it, so I think I'm trying to understand. So is it gray area, or he's just intentionally sending out mixed signals?
It can be vice versa in that regards of how you want to call it, because in that gray, it's going to be unclear. Mm-hmm. It's not on this side of the fence, and it's not on this side of the fence. We're playing on the fence. So there's nothing clear right there. So it's mixed signals, yes. And I need to know which side you're actually standing on, because now I get to create whatever story I want to create. And now that I created my story, you're still going with it.
Yeah.
Yet you're complaining. So I don't know how to be level and balanced with you back, because my heart is saying you like me, but your complaints is telling me you don't. I don't know which side to stand on. And so that's why I know, as much as we supposed to say that we supposed to stand on the Zadia with the delusion of it all, it's kind of hard to stand solely on her when he's playing on her delusional side. Like, if you know, and she's living in this place that you really don't want to be in, just tell her, I'm not fully committed there. And I get there's no nice way to say it without somebody feeling some type of way, especially if we've gone there, because I'm going to feel like it's a rejection regardless. So now he's trying to pass the buck to everybody else to do it for him. He tells old girl, he tells his boy, he's telling production, he's telling Zadia so much, like, hey, sis, please take me off of this show. But in the background, off camera, he should just really say, listen, please just go on some other days. I'll be here if all else fails, and we could take it slow off camera, but I just don't have time for this camera stuff, if that's what he wants. So now it's kind of like, what do you really want? Because you guys could talk about everything else. You're spending quality time clearly off camera. So why you can't just tell me, hey, listen, this camera part of it is too much for me. I like you. I would like to spend more time with you, but I'm okay with that fact that you have to do what you have to do because you're signed a contract to this thing, and go do your thing. If nothing else works with you, call me. We could hook up later. But that should be an adult conversation that he should be able to have if that's how he's actually feeling. The thing is, how are you actually feeling? 1 minute is like, I don't have time, but then old girl can come in and say, no, I think you like her, or you're just scared. And you're like, yeah, you're right. Say, what now? You're right. I have a problem. Now I have a problem with, breaking it off with people. So you're trying to break it off. That's what you're trying to go with, because that's what the first thing you linked up to. You didn't say I have a problem with commitment. I have a problem with, really expressing myself of how I feel about them. The first thing you went to is I have a problem with breaking it off. That's what you're trying to do. Go with that. Just go with that. You're hurting her longer in the long run doing it this way. I get, and I made that excuse for him before. He might not want to embarrass her on TV, but you're embarrassing her now by continuing to do this, but your face is saying everything else. So now you're still the bad guy at the end of the day. When you could have made it a short cut thing, we forget about it, we moved on. Now we're still talking about you, and now we're fleshing you out more. You're not winning at the end. Neither one of y'all winning at the end. And like that hard saying goes, sometimes when you actually do like something or love something, you got to let it go. Both of these people need to just let it go and see if it comes back naturally. This is not a natural setting. If I'm not obligated to be with you, do I still want to be with you? Let's just let it go and find that out. I think we do this too much in relationship. We just try to force what we want onto that other person. Instead of saying, hey, I like this, I want these things in life. If you can't give it to me, it's okay. I like you. We can still be cool. Maybe later on in life, if we both free again and we come across each other, it might be right time. Otherwise, I need to go find what is right for me. I wish you the same. Go ahead, Sean.
I was going to ask Coach if we're going to talk about the argument that her and Sharice had.
Yeah, we can go into that after if you want. If you want into that.
Yeah, because I think the way they handle conflict, the both of them, it spills over into the relationships, you know. But yeah, no, I think like it sucks because you see that she really likes him, and you see that he does like her, but it's tricky and it's political, you know, because I just think it's tricky, you know, this whole scenario, and I don't necessarily like, and you know, Robert, like as you were talking, like I can hear that, and I could definitely own up to the fact, and you know, which is why I said he's playing the hokey pokey, no pun intended, you know. I just caught that. Dance with her, you know, the in and out. Oh man, it's just getting worse and worse. Never mind. You know, I see the push and pull, you know, and it's just tough. It's a tough one. And somebody is going to have to be definitive. And I think, look, it's up to Zadia. She's the one, the power is in with the women with this particular show, where it's highly focused. It's not like a ton of people. She has to just kind of just see the room, see the landscape. Is this a situation you're going to be happy in? And again, I got to give Cam credit because he said that to her this episode. I want you to be happy. So if for Zadia, this is a scenario that she's going to thrive and be happy in, and she's not going to continually try to poke and make him change his way or bend his will to hers. If she's truly going to be happy with the way things are as they stand, then stay in it. But if you're going to get in a situation, and this is again why we say, whether it's physical, whether it's other things, if you don't like the person before you, don't choose them. So if you don't like where he lives and you don't like his stance on not wanting to move, you need to let him go. Don't get in the scenario and think that you're going to be able to bend somebody's will to yours. It's the worst thing that you can do, because you're just going to be spinning your wheels and wasting too much time trying to change that person to what you want to do. And you're going to really miss the mark on what a relationship should be, is you two growing together, and not you feeling like you know what's best and you constantly telling somebody, do this, no, do this way. No, what I have is, I think this is better. You're spending too much time trying to negotiate and convince and sell. And that's no way to be in a relationship.
I kind of want to address this comment that Coach just put up about, is Zadia using dark arts? If anything, I think Vernisha might be using dark arts more than Zadia is. And I say that because the first time where Kim was like, oh, I don't want to go on more dates with you, you genuinely saw the hurt in Zadia's eyes. Like, those eyes did not lie. I think she really does like and care about this Cameron, and that's why she's keeping him around. Vernisha, on the other hand, yeah, she big pimping. She is soaking it up that Tabari is loving on her and stuff. So I think she might be the one doing a little dark arts, but I'm not sure if I see it for Zadia.
Well, you know, Coach, if I gotta say, if she's using any type of dark arts, it's the power of persuasion of the P. That would be the only type that I can see she's using. Outside of that, I wouldn't see what she's gaining from it. I have to, for me to truly envision somebody using dark arts, I got to see what they're getting at the end of it. And if it's fumbling a relationship, because that's what you're potentially doing by going about it this way, I don't see what you win other than saying, I still have control of my P. And at the end of the day, I could potentially get this man to change. his mind on some things if I can just get him wrapped in a little bit longer. So that would be the only true way, but I don't see how she wins overall. I don't know.
So I mean, I wanna be real again. You know what I mean? Yeah, there's some dark cards there. Okay, right? And you touched on it. All right, persuasion poursoir. Okay, look, there is, and that's part comes with part of the delusion. There is probably a part in Zadia's mind that's probably telling her, I put it on him enough times, he gon' cave in. And in reality, listen, let me be real with you. That ain't us. Okay? That ain't us. Now, can we get locked in? Yeah, but we end up disliking you. There's no point. Locking a man down with sex, it never really works in the long run, because if that guy doesn't like you, he gonna treat you like he doesn't like you when eventually the pussy power diminishes. You know what I mean? When you want him to pull his emotional weight in the relationship and he doesn't pull it. So, but a part of the delusion is also using the power of the poursoir, right? That's why sometimes women will offer the poursoir, because they know that, well, they believe that by us engaging in that area so many times, we will fall in love. And it's because sometimes women are thinking with their woman head on, because oftentimes that's what happens to them. We call it digmatization, right? That women can get caught up in the emotional affair of having sex with somebody continuously, time and time again, right? But if that man is already dismissed of his emotions and he's not really attached to it, he gonna continue getting what he want. You gonna keep on giving it. He gonna keep on taking it, right? But I've also been in a situation where, and again, it comes down to whether the person genuinely likes the person. That you can get caught up as a man. You can. It's rarer, but you can get caught up where you didn't expect to get caught up in that way, and you start spending time with that person or whatever, and you start liking the person more. You're like, whoa, I didn't even realize I had these things. But the reality of the situation, in most cases, this doesn't work, right? It's a rarer case for it to happen. It's not because you're amazing and you know what, the poursoir persuaded him. Actually, what he started realizing was he started seeing qualities that he actually liked in you. And that plus the sex then takes him, oh, maybe I need to think about this. But again, it's a rarer situation. So, but women are aware of the power of their poursoir, and they know it keeps a brother there. You know, she knows. She knows. Yes, Deacon. What do you know about that? You're celibate, so
yeah, I'm with you on that,
like
brother.
me.
And I don't want to upset any ladies. I don't want to make anyone upset, but you just did a live on a lady that talked a lot about she don't cook, she don't clean, but she do some mean things, right? And I'm editing it for your channel because we're trying to get you to 100,000, right, and beyond. So I'm editing that verse, but look where she is sliding down the wall. So I think sometimes people mistake a short-term gain for a long-term benefit. And what Zadia definitely wants is a long-term benefit. And you ain't gonna land no dude with that. I'm sorry, you're not. You will have a short-term gain. You'll have a short-term gain, but then you will slide down the perpetual wall. You will slide down the wall because guess what? Just like there's more of us, there's more of you. So if that's what really hooked him, sis, then a man's mindset, and I'm talking now men, the gender men, we want more. So if that's all we see in you is the benefit of your bouquet, right? Then we're going to want more flowers, and we're going to be deflowering all over the planet eventually, right? It might not be early on. And see, that's why I really don't feel bad for Cardi B. I don't really feel bad for certain women who get on a pedestal and start talking about what they got, They want to sell dreams and anthems, of independence and what they got and how they don't have to do anything in a relationship but fill in the blanks. Yeah, no, sis, it's not that easy. Don't sell a dream. Relationships take work, okay? And I'm sorry, that's not going to hook him. So please don't mistake that. The same way as men, we have to be accountable and be honest and upfront. As women, don't fool yourselves. Don't fool yourselves into thinking that just because a guy is giving you the good, and you're giving him the good, and it's consistent and it's working and it's flowing, literally, that's good. You're getting everything you want. No, because if that's all he's in there for, then that's all he's in there for. And that's gonna be what it's gonna be. So I'm sorry. That's the short game for me. And if that's the game Zadia is playing, she's still gonna slide down the wall.
Sorry, Pastor and Deacon. I'm a correct you a little bit. All right. Now, very true, Sean. If you are playing checkers with your poussoir, it ain't gonna work. However, there is a long game and it do work. You could never, I'm sorry, you ain't gonna sit here and try to groom me and tell me that my pee ain't got its power. Oh, it got its power, baby. It's a long game. And the long game is just not in the pee, though. It's just not in the pee. It's a combination of everything. And what Zadia messes up is hypothetically, allegedly, she's giving it to him and then turn around. Okay, I need these changes. No, that's not how it works. Persuasion is in the P. You got to keep the persuasion going through every single thing. So I can't just sit here and give it to you and make demands the next day. That's just not how it works. And that's why it's failing. But it works. I ain't about to give y'all the game because y'all going to be trying to stop the progress of us women out here. But the women that know. And even though Cardi B was sliding down walls and lying to all these other women, her behind was at the house cooking and cleaning. So don't fall for that either. Okay. She was definitely cooking and cleaning at the house. So don't fall for it. She was lying to y'all. Y'all got to have some more than just pee. Y'all can't even just have good conversation anymore. Y'all got to actually bring some stuff that you got to bring what he is missing. And I think if she found what he's missing in his life, he would be willing to make that exception for her because she'd be filling in that gap that he don't have. He has his work priority. He has this going on and that going on or whatever. He has his plan. If she can find in his plan where something could either go wrong and she could fix it or it could be better if he adjusted here, she needs to make herself a value in his life more than just sex. That's where you're saying, Sean. Basically, if you're trying to be in a man's life for just sex, it's not going to work because it's everywhere and we know it. But if you can make yourself valuable to anything, just like you go into work, you make yourself valuable to a company, it makes it harder for them to fire you. You just take that same approach to a relationship. You have to make yourself of value in a relationship, man or woman. And it makes it harder for a person to let you go. P is just not always it. But some of us are sitting on gold mines. So do y'all, sis. Do y'all.
Jay, I love that so much. I love how you emphasize the importance of being a whole person as a woman, especially because in this social media TikTok culture, I think, stay with me, y'all, because it's gonna start crazy, but I'm going somewhere. So I too used to hate the whole "what do you bring to the table as a woman" conversation, right? And I think this was happening a lot where the whole Kevin Samuels culture was truly popular at that time. And rightfully so, women were defensive because we felt like, well, what kind of dusty ass question is this? Like, of course I bring stuff to the table. I am the table. And then you had a woman who literally just thought it's enough for me to just show up and that's it. Like, I don't have to be valuable outside of just showing up. Me just being and existing is enough. Unfortunately, that's not, right? Because I need to go deeper and I need to be able to see what is your character like? What do people say about you when you leave the room? What is the mark that you leave in this world? And watching this show, I can kind of point out some things in each woman where I'm just like, oh, sis, you probably think it's okay to just show up. Like, we can say that for Ashley. her character is horrible. And she's one of those women who thinks I could just show up and that should be enough. You see Dawn sitting right next to me. I'm enough. No, sis, like there's so much more work you have to do internally. Like, where's your value outside of, the nails, the hair, the lashes? Like, what is your value? What are you really, I hate to use this word, but what are you showing up with? Right. And so for me, like, I don't know. I think we have to, and I'm not just saying this for women, but I think women and men, we all have to evaluate, what am I contributing? How am I making the other person better? Because my genitalia there's nothing special about it. Can I satisfy my man? Of course I do, right? But like you said, he can get that anywhere. It's plenty of P words and plenty of V words out there, but people are so empty and dead and boring inside, and they're so conflicting, and just strip the person down and you have like a struggling character. So we gotta work on that. We gotta work on our mindset when it comes to, like, what do we contribute in a relationship.
Bars upon bars.
I love that.
Oh, sorry. Go for it, Sean. No, go for it. Go for it, Cap.
Yeah, no, what I was gonna say is that because there was some point where I think she was trying, and that's why there's a part of me that I do feel a little bad for Zadia. I don't want to make it seem like I just, I don't have any empathy for the fact that the situation doesn't appear to be going the way she would want it to go 100%. Because she said they were talking and she mentioned, like, hey, listen, he was like, thank you for that advice. And I think he said, I like planned some things. I wrote some things down. I was trying to get a lot of things done, and your advice helped me, on how to organize and get things done. So I think she's trying a little bit, but the problem is I don't think that necessarily her conversation started that way. And I think, like, I'm going to speak for myself, not all men, but there's that element, and we talked about it very early on, with certain women. Like, there's something that we could just, or that, in the past that has just like dropped all of my barriers. When a woman has a lightness and easiness about it, there's an effortless about our interaction. I don't feel like you're trying to push me in one way or the other. There's a lightness to it. And I think, like, you can get to that with Zadia, but I don't think that's right there up front. So that's probably some of the things, like, you might be able to get some of the things more that you want if, from the male's perspective, right? Like, we're not like defenses up, walls up, feeling like, no, we got to stand on our throne. Whereas you have the ability to suggest something, like Sharice mentioned wanting to go to Greece, right? And then Maurice said, yes, that could be one of our first trips. So you've allowed him to now introduce it and say, instead of saying, fly me out, take me to Greece. You know what I mean? Like, those are two different things. And if you want something, sometimes your approach also plays an important part of it. But I feel like she's trying. It's so sticky. This situation, like, it just, I mean, it don't look like it's going nowhere. Maybe it will, but it's a very sticky situation.
And final piece before we get to Ash and Don. I mean, I think with these situations, like what Zadia is doing, the key thing is this: that man don't like her like that. It's just the reality of the situation. Not that he doesn't like her. He hasn't put her in that category. See, when men meet women, we have to be honest with ourselves. We categorize women, right? And it's really early on. And I mean, split second early on, right? And then obviously you get a second chance. You kind of have a conversation with that person. You get to know them. And then you may recategorize them. But most cases, people stay in the same boxes, right? So when you meet someone, depending on what qualities they have and what characteristics they have to the table, you place them in a particular box. Now, if you've got a particular energy, I'm like, you know what, I find you attractive, but I don't necessarily see us actually being in a relationship because maybe some of the qualities that you have don't really match me, and you give me sex, I'm not about to change that box for you. Like I'm not about to. I'm going to ride the horse until the wheels fall off. And the horse don't even have wheels, so I ain't trying to let it see it fall off. Okay? So the whole point is, yeah, when as a man we have it in our minds early. So really and truly, right, to increase your chances, you probably don't want to give me the pussoir. This is me being honest. If you want to increase your chances, I never said that it's going to make it perfect, and it's not even like it's going to be 90%. It's just give yourself some time to assess where you can see what I want specifically from you. Because if I like you, right? This is what I came to when I was speaking to the boys about this every time, right? I learned that for me personally, what I was observing is men can love a bunch of women, but they don't like a bunch of women either. So they can love you, but they don't like you. And I said, it's really weird that I came up with that concept. I was like, what does that mean? What it means is a guy can end up spending a lot of time with you and being familiar with you. Cam could end up marrying Zadia, but does he like her? See, the love part is we can fall in love with people because we can spend a lot of time with them, and then it becomes like, well, there's no one else really around. Okay, let me just marry. But do you like the person? And so that like is so important because it actually is what generates the behaviors that women say, you know, I like, he's generous, he's caring, he's appreciative. You know, you can actually feel the love in what he does, you know, and that he wants to do things. You don't have to even ask him to do things, right? And I realize that some men will fall in love with a woman or be in love with a woman and they're irritated by that woman. She asks him to go to the shop, he's irritated. Babe, can you help me in the kitchen? He's irritated. You know, babe, can you take? He's irritated. Like everything is irritating. The reason why is because he doesn't like you. He can love you, quote unquote, to say the truth, but he don't like you. And so the question you have to ask is, does Cam actually like Zadia? And the fact that he's taken this long to make a decision, he don't like her. Because something that he has seen from her, not that she's even bad, not even to say that even she's not ready for a relationship, something about her does not gel with him. And I think what Sean, you were describing here, I think would better fit for someone like Cam when he's such a busy person that's on the road and all that kind of thing. I already said this, that energy that she has, that will never fit him because he will always be fighting with Zadia. Zadia will put up a fight with him. The very first thing they fought over was where they're going to move. Was she willing to move? No. She's willing to have a debate with you about where she's going to go to, because what she's going to do is not go where you want her to go. And I was like, yeah, that's going to be a problem. That's going to be a problem. He's going to see that in a different way. And again, it's not to say that she isn't good for someone else, but this person here, he ain't going to like some of those things that you want. And it's not about, again, submission or anything like that. It's more of a case of you don't want to cooperate in the way that he's going to need you to cooperate. And that's why I wish sometimes as men, we're very honest about what we think, because if we did, we'd actually help a lot more women with our honest thoughts. We meet you, and sometimes you do something, and I'm like, that ain't gonna work for me. And it would actually erase a lot more of the confusion that happens after a relationship gets done up, where people are like, I don't know why, or I'm not sure what happened, or even in this situation, right? They're gonna be continuing to be close and friends, right? And really and truly, the reality is something that she does, you don't like. Be honest about it. You know? So, yeah. Yes, Sean.
Yeah, you know, another thing that I thought was really interesting, and I know like we're ending it with them, is I think the way, like, you know, that interaction when Sharice and Zadia were arguing, and like Sharice like took it to the next level, right? And really just demolished it with all the information she dropped off. I think like that is Zadia's approach. Like she's not gonna do too much, but she's gonna like do little things. And I think like as men, we could kind of see like what's your personality? How do you handle things? Like how do you handle issues? And I think that's what she's gonna do. So it's not gonna necessarily be something overt, but it's enough to see like, hey, this could be problematic, because if you poke at somebody, and we saw her poke Dante, right? So she went all the way to the extreme. I think she's calmed down a little bit. I got to give her progress on that end, but she still has that similar approach to things. Like if she doesn't get what she wants, she's gonna like inch. Like she didn't agree with what Sharice was saying about Don having that female friend of his there at the thing. So she was gonna like kind of just push at Sharice. But the pushing opened up, she pushed with the wrong person because now they just totally exploded on her. Right. So, and I think like part of him may see that could be the thing. He's like, like I might be able to work with her even a little more than what I'm willing to do now. But it's like, I just know our two styles are going to clash because he seems to be kind of more of a laid back kind of person, but I'm still going to do what I want to do. And I'm focused. And she's like, I want to help steer the ship and tell you how you could do what you're doing even better. And I don't think that's something he's interested in really long term.
All right, since we moved it there, let's talk about Zadia and Sharice and the beef that they had. Because that beef was spicy. What's your thoughts on this? And Araba, our prayer warrior, leaned forward as if she collected a word from the spiritual realms. Sis, what did the good Lord tell you about that beef that was happening between,
Sharice
Sharice
is so weird to me. And I don't know if anyone else gets this like controlling vibe from her. In this situation, I felt like she was trying to control the narrative, right? Because sis, if you kiss LJ on the lips, like me personally, with guy friends, I've never kissed a guy friend on the lip ever in my life. Like if I'm kissing you on the lip, we're probably doing other things too. Or I probably want to do other things with you. So that to me was wild. Like that to me was crazy. But she was so defensive about it when Zadia was like, oh, you kissed LJ. It's like, oh, why does she put that out in the open? Girl, that was so weird to me. Like Sharice to me is a very controlling person. She wants to control narrative. She was controlling over Zadia when the whole like her coming home at 6 a.m. situation happened too. And I'm just like, what are you trying to hide? Like, are you not trying to like, I don't know if she's like scared to be painted as some type of person, but it's just like, her reaction was very, very odd. Because if that's what happened, just sit in your truth, girl. Like, yeah, I kissed him and we grown. Like, we're grown. So I found that interesting. And then with her saying that exposing, or I don't want to say exposed because I don't know if they slept together or not, but with her blurting out that Zadia had sexual relationships with that man, I felt like that's what we're not going to do. We're not about to try and shame this woman for doing a grown-up act. I don't know, maybe y'all view it differently, but in that moment, I felt like she was trying to shame Zadia, like, and you had sex with that man, and it's just like, oof. And if she has sex with him, that's her body, that's her choice. She has to deal with the consequences and the repercussions of it. But to blurt that out to shame her, like when Zadia revealed that Sharice kissed LJ, I don't think she did it in a way to kind of like shame Sharice. It was kind of like, oh, this is interesting. Let me ask you about this because I don't kiss my guy friends. So can I just ask you what was up with that? But when Sharice came back at Zadia, she was like, nah, I'm going to expose you and shame you at the same time. So that for me was just like, we're not even playing fair. Like, what the hell is this? What is going on? So that for me, that whole exchange was odd. The reactions on both of their ends was a little telling and revealing about some things, but I'm going to let y'all go ahead and maybe say something that you saw that I didn't see or I'm missing.
You want it, Sean, or you want me to take it?
Whatever you want to do, because we probably both gonna say the same thing. So you go ahead.
All right. Well, in my eyes, this is when petty meets a leaky faucet. Okay, that's what it is. Zadia been sitting already, waiting to get her payback. I'm sorry, she been waiting to get her payback, and it was a good moment. It was a, you know what? To be honest, it was a light payback, especially in comparison, because this is now the second time that you're out of me out for being grown. All right. But it was a light payback. It was a properly paced, like, oh wait, you don't kiss your friends. Well, what was that with you in this one here or whatever? And then you want to tell the story. Oh, you didn't see our season? LJ brought his ex to the ex date. That wasn't his friend. Okay, so what does it matter about his season? Okay, that was his ex, not a friend. So we're talking about why we don't want a friend to show up. Your guilt is now showing. Or whatever. You don't want a friend to show up because me and my friend been kissing. All right. Me and my friend might have been talking about some other things that's not so friendly. I don't know. But the guilt really showed up is the way that you handled it, instead of just saying, oh, girl, that's my friend. That's what I do. That's in our culture, whatever the case may be. I know people that kiss on the lips and they like, that's just their culture. That's what it is. You know, some people don't kiss their parents on the lips. Some people do. It is what it is in certain places. So you could have easily just paid it off. But the fact that you want to go lower all the way to hell and just be like, that's why you over here doing this and you told us and the D this and that. Sis, I'm sorry. You're just not a person I personally could trust. She might have some good qualities. Sharice might be a good woman, but if I tell you something in confidence and you wait to expose me in a bad, like in a moment that you feel I did something, and regardless, I could have been playing or I could have been true, you held that information to go ahead and expose me, I just can't trust you. And that shows something on her character. And if Maurice is watching and y'all still together, listen, you a lawyer, buddy. No pillow talk, because she might be out here spilling all your stuff or whatever. That's how I look at it. Now, on the other hand, like Sean was saying, these two women show how they might be handling situations in relationships. If Zadia is waiting to get her get back, that's not always a good thing either. Because now you're going to sit here on something that your boyfriend or your guy might have did some weeks ago or whatever. And now here's your opportunity to come along and either get him back or throw it in his face or whatever the case may be. The tit for tat is not really good for relationships. It's good for your enemies and people you don't really care about. But as a petty expert myself, it's not good for a relationship, especially a healthy relationship. You know what I'm saying? So if you were trying to go down the road of really having a good, healthy relationship with Sharice later on and just overlook that transgression that happened earlier, that wasn't the way to do it. You know what I'm saying? Like, let it go. Just let it go. Okay, you don't kiss your friends? Oh, okay, girl. I see you. That's how we could have left it. Like, okay. Didn't look like that to me, but all right, cool. You don't kiss your friends. Or, you know, you and your friends just kiss. That's what all y'all do. You know, y'all do nothing extra, whatever the case may be. But this is when petty meets a leaky faucet. And so when you go petty, some people start exposing. You got to be careful out here on these petty streets, okay? It's fun and games until, but you know, if Zadia don't really care about her business being out there, she'll own it. Like, hey, listen, I did say it and the D was good. It got me some more too. You know, when if you're going to be petty, you just got to stand in it. That's all I'm going to say. For all those that want to be petty out there, you're aspiring to be petty. Once you commit, that's it. You just got to go full force.
Yeah, you know, I would say that Sharice is tick, tick, boom. You know, like there is no, you know, she just completely, you know, and I think Zadia effed around and found out because there really was no need for her to start talking about the kiss with LJ. Truth be told, if we're going to really be objective, like they weren't, it wasn't like they were having an argument that needed to be, these things needed to be divulged, right? Sharice, the conversation started, right, with Sharice saying she didn't think that it was wise of Don to bring one of his female friends on. That's what started it. And she was like, and this is why, because I think sometimes blah, 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 blah. Exactly. So Zadia had a different opinion and she, you know, how do we get to, you know, and then I think in Sharice explaining more, she mentioned LJ and his previous ex that was on there, but it kind of got uncovered later on that they had recently slept together a month ago. So her point was like, don't bring people in where it could get messy because there's emotions and feelings that could get tied in. So that was kind of like the substance of why she was pretty much siding with Ashley in this instance, that Don was wrong for bringing that girl on to meet her, to meet Ashley. Why Zadia needs to now go and feel like, oh, well, I saw you kissing, mommy saw daddy kissing Santa Claus, whatever that stupid song is, like what was the reason, Zadia? Like, what was the reason for that? Because see, like, if I know I got some ish to me, I'm not gonna be going there with you. So, and I think that's how she effed around and found out, because Sharice's tick, tick, boom. Once you do the slightest thing to her, somebody said you go low, she's going to hell. That's her mentality. You don't mess with people like that, especially when you got stuff going on, and Zadia's response told me everything I need to know, because when a woman says this, that's all. Why you in my vagina? That's it. That means whatever you said was true. Stay out of my business. And I'm sorry, like, Zadia should not have opened the door. I think Sharice didn't need to go there. But hey, it's warfare at this point. And at this point, now you got two people who have zero conflict resolution skills. Their emotional intelligence level of handling conflict the bar is very low. You offend them, it's going to be overdone. So now that's when you have this. So that's what I'm saying. If Zadia did dark arts, she's not really that good at it, because you didn't really accurately assess your opponent. Because if you were accurately assessing your opponent and you got stuff going on, then you would just shh. And also, this is another thing that came up. Every woman that I know that talks about she's got a dude that's doing X, Y, and Z, what they have learned is to keep it to yourself. Because a lot of girls, what that does trigger, you start telling your friends too much. Now your friend's calling my line. Now your friend wants to figure out what's all the talk about. They want to get a sample. So if she was really, really smart, and if that is what's going on, allegedly, right, and it is, popping, you need to keep it to yourself. That's the darkest of dark arts, because then that way you don't have to worry about other people knowing what you're doing, keeping your secrets, people being in your blah, blah, blah. And that's that.
Now, Sean, we ain't going to start in the middle. We ain't going to start in the middle, because you done decided that you want to put your bet in on Sharice and all this stuff. Sharice opened this whole can of war, whoop ass, all this stuff from the get-go, from the very jump. And you going to start in the middle. Zadia been owing her, okay? Now, Zadia could have took the high road and not did it. She could have. But like I say, sometimes us petty people be holding stuff in the pocket, just waiting for our moment. And if Sharice didn't want to go there and have herself exposed, she should have stopped trying to expose other people. Because once you expose people, now you're left in the open. You're an easy target now. You put a target on your own back. Sharice put that target on her back. Zadia found her opening and took it. Now, Zadia, with the exposing that Sharice is doing, you already exposed that, sis. You ain't saying nothing more. You just gonna say that I told you? Okay. You already said I've been out here in the streets. What's your point? So that her saying why she all in my vagina is just confirming, because you're still in my vagina. First week you was in it. Week 7, you still in it. Sis, find your own. Get out of mine. Now that I'm telling you about your own, you don't want that. So like I say, sometimes when you okay, us petty people, we might not want to mess with leaky faucets. Yes, if you got some stuff in your closet you really don't want out there. But some of us petty people don't give a F. And you'll F around and find out how much we don't give a F. Sharice found out. Now Sharice on this screen, pissed off, going to the lowest, showing her full character. Listen, and I ain't saying I ain't condoning neither one of these ladies' behavior, but when you start trying to expose people, you leave yourself wide out. You leave yourself in the open to get exposed back. So just mind your business. Mind the business that pays you, and stay out of people's vaginas. Okay? Leave her for JJ alone, and let whoever else be in there.
But one thing Sharice did do very well is she kind of proved her own point, right? Because this started when Sharice said, I don't think it was a good move for Don to bring a friend or whatever. And you're proving that we might have to be sketchy of friends because you kissing friends, sis. like girl, you should have just kept your mouth shut. You should have kept your mouth shut, especially when you got eyewitnesses all up and through that house. I'm just saying. And you know, like you got to be careful of how free you are around certain people. And I felt like she probably would have been safe if like Ashley or Vernisha would have witnessed that kiss. But Zadia, out of all people, and now you want to open your mouth about what people should and shouldn't do. Sharice. And then you want to get upset about being exposed about something you actually did do. That was the crazy thing to me. But hey.
I mean, personally, I think this beef between the two of them, can I be honest with you? I think you know what? Zadia was clever. She should not pretend as if she didn't know what she was doing. So she shouldn't be confused as to why Sharice banged her the way she banged her, because you know what Sharice is like. Now, the reality of the situation was, I think Zadia actually had a really good point here, though, right? How is Sharice trying to have a moral high ground when you kiss your friend and they came to the show? So she actually had a very good point. But the way it was delivered kind of felt a little bit like, baby, before you start talking, just want to let you know that I witnessed you and your friend kissing. You don't get to talk. Rather than it being an observation that saying, actually, do you know what? In reality, I hear what you're saying, but just you may be able to identify with the other person a bit more. Like if you know that Sharice is the kind of person that's going to fire off, you're going to have to deliver this differently. Otherwise, you can't pretend as if you don't know what you said to the person and they wanted to pop off. You know what I mean? Like I know that if I know that I already have a prior beef with Sharice and it got heated to a point where I think I watched a bit of the live with her and Crystal, she said the beef actually got more heated than it actually showed on the show. So you know that Sharice going to take it to 5,000. You know what I'm saying? If it gets that way. So if you know that it's going to get to 5,000, ain't no way that you're going to deliver that information and think that it's going to stay that way, right? But it was actually a very valid question. How are you kissing your friend and trying to have a moral high ground talking about Don and his friend? Don't have a moral high ground. Just say that, hey, he shouldn't have done it. And you know what? We've all done our things, but maybe that you try to hold a moral high ground. And so Zadia was like trying to bring you down a peg a little bit too, right? Unfortunately, she came down, Sharice came down with a hammer too. You know what I mean? She bop on your head top when she came back down. It gets at that, right? And so Sharice obviously saying that, you know, I felt like, again, though, I will say that I think it's also reflects very badly on Sharice. I think it does. I think this is twice now. The first time was really not needed. The house situation with the door. I don't care if you get waken up. I don't care. I'm not about to try to expose you for you having waking me up in the middle of the night and be like, you know what, Sean woke me up in the middle of the night. You're like, clearly you was out here. Like, I'm never gonna do that. Whether I like you or not, it's not my business. Do you know what I'm saying to you? And it's because I have an ethos that I work with. I don't want to do that to somebody. You get what I'm saying to you? So you thought you'd done that the first time, and then now we're exposing the fact that somebody was kissing. This one probably had a bit more merit, but again, we're exposing that issue of someone kissing, and again, it shows that you've got that mean streak in you. And I think, Jay, you kind of hit the nail on the head. If I'm Maurice, this is the kind of stuff that when you watch as a man, why they suddenly just slip into the middle of the night. Because if I'm watching, I see that, I'm like, woo, yeah, I'm gonna slip into the middle of the night. I'm gonna ghost you. I'm not even gonna tell you why. I'm just gonna be gone. Because when I see that behavior, I know that's coming my way. So if Maurice is comfortable, then he can deal with it. Fantastic. But just know, whatever she does to women, she will also do to men. Whatever a man does to other men, he will do to other women. So if he's out here stealing mandom's girls, he might just do something to you too. You know what I mean? Like just be able to be honest with you. You know what I'm saying? Like if the girl does disrespect other women, more than likely she will end up disrespecting you. So, I just wanted to add that part. Yes, Jay, you wanted to say?
Yeah, I wanted to shift it because I didn't really pick up on that point you just said, but I picked up on the other point, which I wish wasn't overshadowed by this argument, is that Sharice did have a good point as far as bringing the woman for Ashley, because that was her point, and Araba was bringing that up. That was her point. In the case of Ashley, bringing another woman wasn't the best choice for him because of how we see how Ashley goes with women when it comes down to it. or whatever, and Don is not really reading the room. You know your friend. I'm not expecting him to totally know how Ashley's going to behave, but you know your friend. That's your friend. You're supposed to know how your friend is going to behave and how they defend you and all this stuff like that. So if your friend, you already know your friend has no real filter and no real control, though she might have your best interests at heart, she might not always be the best person to bring around new people to meet right away. That's one of them friends you have to give a disclaimer to. Like, you know, she loves me. She got my best interests at heart. Do understand that she's going to read the room for filth if that's how she feels, whatever. You might have to have a whole disclaimer for that particular friend, but that might not have been the best look for him to bring on the show. You know, and I do feel like that was a good point that was kind of overshadowed by this back and forth argument, besides the one you just made too.
Any other thoughts on that situation?
Just really quickly.
Go for it.
I may be jumping out on a limb here, but I don't know if Sharice has a complex towards Zadia or people that look like Zadia, because I think there's other people who have disrespected Sharice, and her reactions towards Zadia have been way different. So thinking back to when the whole situation, like with Vernisha and Ezel. His name's not Ezel, is it?
It's
Okay.
Mizell.
Everyone's calling him Ezel. I'm like, I know that's not his name. But thinking back to that reaction, I thought what Vernisha did was a little jacked up, kind of went against girl code. And I was shocked that Sharice was so not complacent, but I was shocked that Sharice didn't really go off on Vernisha. But whenever Zadia seems to do something, like her reaction is so, it is just like she has no type of emotional control at all when it comes to Zadia. And I'm not saying Zadia is completely innocent, right? Like I can definitely say that she kind of has to tone down as well. But Sharice allows herself to be so easily triggered by Zadia. I'm kind of like, I don't know if there was a bully somewhere in Sharice's life that like looked like Zadia or something, but she, anything Zadia does, Sharice is ready to jump down that throat. So I don't know. That's kind of like bringing up some questions for me that I kind of want to like explore there. Like, who did you wrong? And did they have a little bit too much melanin in their skin, or does Zadia remind you of that person? I don't know, but that's just kind of my observation.
To be fair to Sharice, she has bullied all types of colors. I can't even lie to you. I think her biggest issue with Zadia is that she is also a competitor like her. They're both very mean. And I think it's just too, it's Godzilla and King Kong. It's just like they see each other and they see each other as very competitive people. With Vern and Ashley, you see they always take a bit more of a backseat. They're not willing, they don't need to fight to try and be the King Kong. That's not their position. But Zadia and Sharice get a high of trying to be the top alpha in the group. And I think that's why they always end up fighting each other. And it's quite similar to Sharice, and her season was with Cadian. You know, Sharice is looking for a fight. That's the honest truth. Sharice, I think her history, she got bullied when she was younger. She's got a chip on her shoulder. And she looks for other people who want to fight with her. I mean, she at one point wanted to fight Zoe. So that tells me what I need to know about her. You know what I mean? Like, she don't have no restrictions on who she wants to go at. It's just, I think the Vern didn't give her the reaction that she needed. If Vern had maybe piped up and wanted to fight, maybe, maybe she might have given her a bit more energy. But I've noticed with Sharice, she likes people that are contentious because it gives her a reason to go back and forth with them, and get some pent up energy that she has. So she always tries to dominate. And since Vern and Ashley are not trying to dominate, they ain't gonna fight with them. She ain't gonna be for them. But with Cadian too, Cadian was like, well, I'm a top girl too. I'm gonna show you what it is. you ain't gonna do that to me, So I think she has a history of doing that. She's been bullied before, and I think she has a chip on her shoulder, Yes, Sean, did you want to Say something. You holding and clutching
Yeah,
your heart.
no, I think Sharice considers herself the Robin Hood of the people. You know, like how Robin Hood wants to rob the rich to help the poor. I think that's what Sharice does when she goes after people. So she, in her mind, she's convinced herself like, oh, you know, I'm gonna get the bully. You know, so anybody that I see is a bully, and she's watched the season, I could tell. So she's probably a fan, not so much of a fan of Zadia's. And so she's going based on what she's seen, what she's heard, and she's got this perception. And then now they have their own interactions. So she's like, nah, I'm gonna get the bully. She was like, I'm the Robin Hood. I'm gonna go after her and I'm gonna take her down. Now, I don't think, and again, this is what happens with people is this, the level of self-awareness isn't there. I don't think she sees herself and her own actions as being equally problematic, but she feels like, oh, I'm going after somebody that's, because every time they have a fight, she says it. Because when they had this last argument, she was like, you are a mean girl. You're everything they say about you. Who's they? You know what I mean? Like, form your own interactions and stop having this argument that started in your head. But this is what happens with people too sometimes. They have a narrative so strongly built about people or a thing, and they just go guns a-blazing. So she's already at 10 waiting for something to pop off with Zadia. You know, and again, I know somebody was saying, oh, I'm biased towards Zadia. I really don't care. You know, I don't know her. I just see some of her actions as problematic, and I think she miscalculated because she thought she was going to get a slick diss in on Sharice. You know, I'm going to get you a good one. But Sharice over amplified it because she put on her Robin Hood cape. Here I come to save the day, and she's gonna just demolish Zadia. And it was a little embarrassing. You know, I'm not gonna hold you. It was embarrassing because Zadia is also not really getting fully what she wants from Cam. So this is, you know, it's not really necessarily the goodest of looks if you're out here tipping night and day, but you're still technically not getting what you want. So that's why I think she really laid down that hammer. Whatever Zadia thinks about whatever sexually happened with them or not doesn't matter, because the optics of the situation, it still has Zadia with egg on her face because she's not technically getting everything she wants from Cam at this moment. And I just think Sharice needs to dial it back, because when you go in on somebody like that, and we talked about this before, when you unleash on people, and this is something I too had to learn, like when you use your words to like try to hurt somebody and destroy, it's still, I don't care how good it feels in the moment, it takes a lot out of you, and it's exhausting a lot of negative energy to hurt somebody else in that way. You're not going to win in that way. And if that's your way of problem resolution with somebody, is to try to hurt them the worse, you still don't know how to effectively manage a relationship, whether it's platonic or otherwise. So I think they're both have ineffective ways of handling things, and Sharice really needs to look at how she responds when people upset her, because if that's where you're always going for, you're going to struggle.
Okay, cool, fantastic. Let's talk about obviously Ashley and Don. I want to get your thoughts, Ashley and Don. I know you guys got thoughts upon thoughts upon thoughts on this. Ashley and Don, what did you guys feel about the beef between the two of them? What was your thoughts on that situation? Because boy, oh boy, oh boy, was it a mayhem to see. Part 1 and part 2 was madness. What's your thoughts to that? Araba, talk to us, man. What was your thoughts on this, on them two?
Deep sigh, deep ancestrally sigh. Ashley is overwhelming for me. Personally, I couldn't even be friends with a person like this. So let me just preface this by saying that I don't know Don. I don't know his character. I don't think I'm too crazy about him, but that doesn't mean I'm going to sit here and be comfortable with the disrespect that I'm seeing him receive. I feel like Ashley has a lot of healing to do, and your last concern should be looking for love, right? And I'm one thing I am is I'm a proponent of everyone finding their person, especially as a Black woman. I say go out there, put yourself out there, find love, find your person, find your companion. But here is a prime example of when someone who is not ready to love can be dangerous. And Ashley is dangerous. And I think what we've been seeing this for the past few episodes, but this was finally the day where I'm just like, oh, it goes deeper. It goes deeper than being unhealed, because now it's getting to the point where it might be a little bit abusive. And I'll kind of like dissect that a little bit more. But let's start with the meeting of the friends, right? I have so many thoughts on, and I think I might be forgetting the young lady's name. Was it Lakeisha? Don's friend? I'm not really sure what the friend's name was. So I apologize to that young lady. But I understand, even though I thought sometimes she was a little bit out of pocket, I understood the passion that she had for wanting to protect Don in that moment. I think what the friend was witnessing was like, one, you eliminated Don. Two, you accepted him back and you had nothing but criticisms for the way that he dressed, for his lack of swag, for this, that, the third. And three, you are trying to kind of triangulate him, like make him feel jealous of someone he has no connection to or anything like that. Like, you are low-key being abusive, sis. Like, you are pulling out, and I know you hate this word, Kojo, but this you're doing some like narcissistic things, like only narcissists can triangulate people in order to big themselves up and make them look like, I'm so wanted and I'm so needed. Y'all little monkeys need to fight for me. And I really hated that. So I understood the energy that the friend came with on the date. Like, listen, my friend deserves someone who is going to choose him and all of him, loafers and all. If he wears suits, okay. It might not be the time and the place, but the woman for my friend is going to show up and love him for all that he presents himself as. And I felt like Ashley didn't understand that in that moment. She was just like, no, it's all about me and what I want. And he's so into me that's why he's sitting here right now. Like I said, I don't know Don, but I highly doubt he's sitting there solely for you. For all we know, he might just be here to get some more notoriety or get his name out there or whatever. But I highly doubt he's truly sitting there for you. And so I really loved how like the friend kind of checked Ashley, and she had it in her to go toe to toe with Ashley, because I really don't think Ashley is surrounded by people who challenge her, who hold her accountable, and who kind of like have that sis to sis moment, like, sis, you're wrong. You are wrong. Right? I think Ashley's a beautiful person. I think she's lovely. And once again, I think she's deserving of love, but she's very immature. She's childish. She's so childish. So childish. Like, on one hand, you're trying to get some man to love you by making him jealous. On another hand, you're trying to change. You're not even deep enough in a relationship with him to make suggestions as to how he should change his wardrobe. Right? I can understand you might want to add some pizzazz or some jazz to your man. Maybe, you want to kind of like spice him up a little bit. But damn, wait until y'all make it exclusive, till you have more of a relationship with this person, because doing it straight off the bat makes me feel like you don't really like this man. You're trying to mold him into some other type of man that you really want, which is Kirsten. Right? So that interaction, I was like, oh, tell her about herself. Yes, get her friend. Like, let her know, like, what you're doing is not okay. And then to fast forward to the date scene. I found myself chuckling a lot throughout the interaction, because she was doing a lot of this, and then Don was like, you need a with the hands in the face. So I think if a typical person was talking like Ashley on the date, like they'd be cool. But Ashley, you have on 10-inch nails, sis. You kind of do need to be aware of how you're using your hands to talk to people. So I thought that was a little funny. But I think in that moment, I also noticed that Ashley is only okay when she has criticisms of another person. Like it's never okay for someone to tell her about herself. It's always about how can you conform to my idea of what you should be, instead of how am I as Ashley showing up in this relationship. And that means you're not ready to be with another person. You're not ready. Because if you can really sit here and swear and say to me that you think you've shown up in this process with just perfect and shown up 100% and in a way that is conducive to what a woman who was truly ready to build a relationship showed up as, like, you're straight up lying to me. You're dogging me. Like, sis, you're all over the place. You are all over the place. And I was proud of Don, because I'm like, finally, he's getting some backbone. Finally, he's like, I'm not going to sit here and have you rah, rah, rah and think I'm just your bitch. Like, I was so happy. Like, he finally, and it wasn't to the point where I would have liked it to be, like him getting up and removing himself from the situation, because you only have one but so many times to come at me with his energy. But he's starting, right? We're getting somewhere. And when Ashley walked off the way that she did, without them fully fleshing out that conversation, granted, if someone called me DMX, I don't know if I would take too kindly with that either. But I still do think she walked away prematurely, considering we have editing, production, and what have you. I did not like how she just walked off from that conversation without them being able to truly flesh that out. And so for me, I really saw a different side of Ashley. I mean, I've seen this immature, childish, needs like too much all over the place in previous episodes, but today this felt like she's a dangerous person to be around. So I don't know. I wish her the best, but I couldn't even be friends with this girl, honestly.
Deacon, worship leader, who's feeling the presence of the Spirit. Sean said he's touched by an angel. Go for it, Sean.
Listen, I don't even know what to think. That whole scenario I was mortified. I do think it was a wrong move for Don to bring that friend, because if he's smart, he knows, because he said these are two powerhouses going at it when they were arguing. So he knows his friend has a lot of energy. So he should not have elected to bring her. I know he said he's not from New Orleans. He doesn't really have a lot of friends or family in the area. But I really wish he could have found somebody else, because if she's sitting on 10, you've already disclosed to her some things about your interactions with Ashley. She should have not been the one to be there. Now, I got more heat for Ashley, though, at the end of the day, because she went in there, again, overplaying her hand. I don't like when people overplay their hand, because that shows me you really are not somebody that's like, you don't really think before you do. So she thinks, because she has this bubbly personality, she's going to sit and play in people's faces. Like, you're legit talking down on Don, talking about, he needs to walk into a new light. Who are you? Like, where you come from that you're going to be brightening somebody's light you just met 2 weeks ago, And it's like, his light's not good enough. So you need him to get to a certain level. And it's the same thing. It's the same problem I have. I don't like, and she really amped it up when she tried to play Don against Kirsten. Now, I don't know what happened to Kirsten. He dropped out of sight. I'm not sure if he's going to pop back up again. But the whole idea is that, oh, you need to step your game up. You need to do more of this and that. And then she's like, oh, now I want more razzle dazzle. And he's like, but I like you. And she's like, well, you're a whole poet. You can't give me more. This is how you're talking to this man in front of the people that he cares about. So I'm sorry. I'm glad she got the heat. It wasn't right, but I'm glad she got it, because at the end of the day, this is not what you do. This isn't how you, this, to me, this whole thing, I don't know why Don showed up, whatever that was he had in that little plastic bag, whatever flower gift, circus gift that he showed up to give her. I don't know why he brought that, because she didn't deserve anything. She was rude, and she was, disrespectful and not nice. And I wouldn't have given her anything, not even the time of day. She'd have been done. We'd have been done. Apologize that my friend went off on you, because, yeah, she probably shouldn't have said those things in that forum and talked to you that way. But, I think at this juncture, it's best that we go our separate ways. And I think Don does not know how to handle conflict. He definitely does not. He doesn't know how to be straightforward. He doesn't know how to set clear boundaries, which is why his relationships have been toxic and more toxic each one he goes into, because he doesn't have boundaries. And he doesn't know how to handle conflict, and he doesn't know how to cut a situation when it's gone too far. And he definitely, it shows with his friends, because my friend would know we don't do this. We don't carry on this way, especially in public. If we're going to argue, we argue behind closed doors if it needs to get to a point where we're having a heated exchange. But what we're not going to do is argue and fuss and go back and forth and bicker and carry on like that in full view of everybody. That's not, and we're also not going to do is have you telling things that I said to you in a discussion, because that's just makes me look bad. So that's what I think about these two. But Ashley, horrible. Her behavior, it just gave me a knot in my stomach to see the way she talked about him, her lack of accountability. He kept trying to tell her, hey, listen, you're doing too much. And she was like, this is how I talk. This is how I do. And then when he goes out of line, now she's the victim. Like she can never see her wrong. She was the victim with old dude from the first season. Yeah, no, you're not the victim. And I think people like to be the victim in situations, because then I don't have to look at me. If I'm constantly a victim, I don't ever have to say, hey, what did I do wrong? What could I do better in this situation? And her commentary is always surface. Even when the family asked her, they asked her, what attracted you to Don? His smile, his this. Nothing about his character, nothing. It's like all these superficial things. She's always telling somebody, oh, this guy is handsome and this guy is handsome. I don't like his clothes. It's like, what are you focused on? So, yeah, I didn't like any of the conversation. I definitely think it was wrong for him to refer to her as DMX. I don't think he meant to imply how it came off, but it was still a wrong connection. He could have called her Eve, a pit bull in a skirt. That could have been a better, if you want to reference the Rough Riders, he might have called her Eve versus calling her DMX, because I think that was probably wrongly played and wrong word usage for him. Well, he said she's acting like, but everybody knows when you tell somebody they're acting like you're stupid, you're acting like you're dumb, you're acting like the B word. We all know what that means. It's just a softer way of saying what you're trying to say. So he shouldn't have used DMX. There was no way to correct that. He shouldn't have said that word to her.
Okay, so in my eyes, nobody was right in this situation except for the friend that was minding his business, drinking the water. Okay, everybody else had a role to play, including Vern. Vern, you don't even know what you want, woman. Shh. You had nothing to say, ma'am. Okay, just sit there and look cute and wait for your date to come. Friend, as much as I love friends like these that are ride or die, that defend you, have your back, make sure nobody runs over you, and certain particular people definitely need friends like these in their life. Don is one of these people that need a friend that speaks up for them. However, you, Don, still need to be able to speak up for yourself against your friend. Your friend, you cannot sit here and tell your friend everything so they can go fight your battles. That is not your friend's job. So, sir, in that moment, parts of me agrees with Ashley, like, hey, check your friend. You're supposed to be here for me and vice versa. And we'll get to that part, but vice versa on it. We supposed to be forming the team, not you and your friend. So I'm gonna need you to leave your friend's side. And either if you're gonna check somebody, check her one time. Now, the fact that he didn't check anybody, I'm like, okay, well, I don't know what to tell you, Don. Like, you got to check somebody. You know what I'm saying? Check them both. Both of them need to be checked. But don't just sit there and look confused. However, I'm one of them people, you know what I'm saying? I don't like to live in regret. So even in mistakes, he probably brought the wrong friend. But even in this mistake, a lesson was learned. Because him sitting back and not saying anything helped him see what Ashley really feels about him. How Ashley really feels about this whole situation and everything. Because the more heightened she got, the more of her truth came out. And she got to the point where his opinion don't matter. What he got to say, it don't matter. Him being here don't matter. It's about me. Well, relationships is not about me. That's your first mistake. It's about us. It's about we. We are the team. A relationship is two or more people. You know what I'm saying? To have a relationship, you can have a relationship with yourself, but then that's about you. Definitely, that's the relationship she should be having, but she clearly not having that. But she wants it to be about her with somebody else. Excuse me. No, that's not how it works. Okay. He still has a say in this. Yes, you might have some control as far as how the show is designed, but he, at the end of the day, still has some say as, do I really want to put up with this? Do I really want to treat you how you want to be treated in the long term? Or should I just treat you how you treating me currently? Your actions right now are dictating his future decisions with you. You got to keep that in the forefront if this is your goal. But we already know she don't really like this dude, so it is what it is for her. Now, I agree with everybody. Don't come into a situation trying to change a person off rip. You know what I'm saying? If you don't like his clothes type and all this stuff like that, say, okay, pass. You could be like Sharice. Sharice went for the man for the suit. That's what I like. I like a man in a suit. The man is versatile. You might have seen him on the suit all the time. We don't know. Production is telling him what to wear, or he wants to bring his best foot forward, which means I'm going to wear a suit. All you have to do is ask him when he's wearing a suit, hey, do you own any other tennis shoes? If we go on a hike tomorrow, can you got to change your gear? What we're doing, you know what I'm saying? What other things that you do that makes you wear other clothes? See, if it had been a problem, if she knew what Kirsten was really saying about the nails and all these things like that, like if she really took heed to him saying that, it would have been a problem. As soon as we get to saying, oh, I need to cut them back a few inches, take them lashes off, do this, it's a problem. Now you're trying to change how I look. But it's okay when you do it. No, sis, it's not. That's a problem. Let a person be who they're going to be. If his character is right, his morals is right, the way he treat people in life is right, F what his clothes do. Most of the time you want to take them off any daggone way. So, like, what does it matter? Don. So y'all just stay with me because I'm going to be bounced back and forth to a few people through this whole thing. But Don, brother, you got to speak up. I'm sorry, there ain't no way around this thing or whatever and stuff like that. You got to speak the F up, bro. Like, you sitting here on mute, like this Beyonce's challenge or some stuff like that. Like, what is you doing right now? Like, bro, two ladies that are supposed to be close to you. You brought this friend here because you want to be with this woman. Why are you letting your friends ruin your chances with this woman? Now, like I say, in hindsight, she brought out the truth of her. So it was a plus thing if you want to look at it like that at the end. But sis, I know I told you what I said to you. But I came to you for advice to how to maneuver with this woman, not for you to do it for me. That's what girlfriends is for. That's what homegirls is for us to give you the advice, not to fight your battles. Now, if she start putting hands on you, that's when we can jump in. because we don't need you fighting a woman like that. But if she ain't physically putting hands on you, you should be able to use your big boy voice and tell her what it is that you need to say. If not, if you're really better with the letter, write her a letter. Write her a poem, whatever the case may be. However you need to express it to her, you need to do that for yourself. You cannot be bringing other people to fight your battles. This is a bad way to have a relationship where everybody else is in it. Because that's what it's telling me right now, that as soon as things go wrong, you're going to include everybody in our relationship. We're not going to be able to have the one-on-one first without everybody knowing what we in. And this is the worst thing to do with friends. It's bring them into your situation that you're going to go right back to. Why are we talking about it if you're going right back to it? I used to have friends that do this stuff. They want you to fight for them and do all this thing like that. So I'm going to go beat up your partner for you to be right back with them. Crazy, because that's what you're leading your friend down to do, is beat up your partner so you can go right back with them. That's not how that works. And the time that you get a backbone, now you're already pushed to the wall. Now you want to say the most hurtful thing that you could possibly think of is a DMX comment. Now, granted, she was all over the place and stuff like that, but if you had spoke up a long time ago, you wouldn't have to go so low. Ashley, you're not a man. You might have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 brothers. You're not a man. Do not never tell a man, I will slap the S out of you. If you really not ready to go there and you really not ready to have one of your brothers either dead or in jail, don't go there. Because some of these men out here be ready for you to be like, oh, well, let's go. This is what I was talking about by habitual victims. You're threatening the man, but now it's a problem when he come at you. You sitting here telling this man all this and that and the third, but as soon as he say something to you, oh, I can't believe you said that. I was just joking when I said, no, you wasn't, because you said it after what he said. He called you the DMX thing and you told him about himself. That's not a joke. You're not joking. You feel some type of way. This is you in that moment right now. Let's ride on that. Don't jump up and get up and try to walk away when he call you out on it or whatnot and just be like, oh, I was joking, but it's okay. I should be able to joke or whatever. No, you guys are having a serious conversation. This is not the time for the jokes and the games. You came in on 10. You was mad about the whole thing with the friend. Why would you joke at this? Unless we're good and we got it cleared away, I'm not trying to joke. I'm trying to tell you what it is for real right now. I didn't like the way your friend came at me. Now, I know on TV, a lot of times they tell you talk with your hands, and some of us are very expressive like this with our hands. But like Robert said, you got long nails. You be too expressive like this, it starts to feel like a threat, especially to some people out here that don't like this all in their face. If he say, please just stop talking with your hand, okay. I'm not talking to your hands. Now, granted, I didn't really see too much of it. So some points I'm like, is he just trying to be facetious or whatever because the camera is on, or they just cut out a lot? It's one of the two things. But respectfully, if you want to sit there and say I'm talking with my hands, well, okay, fine. Hands is here. Hands are in a position where I'm not talking with them. But we gonna talk this through because I didn't like the way that you got down with me. I didn't like the way you didn't defend me. And I like that Ashley tries to express herself, but because she's still so hurt within, her expressions never come out right. It's a good thing that she likes to express where she's at in life and where she feels with people. That's a good quality to have in a relationship. But you need to get to a place where you can have healthy conversation with people and be able to take their feedback back. If he's telling you you're doing something that's DMS, like meaning you're being too aggressive, okay, don't get mad at him, but then be in a confessional, I'm about to get aggressive with this man. Like, girl, you doing DMX. What do you want us to do? Do you want us to have your back or not? Because we can't have your back when you're sitting here doing the things that he's accusing you of or saying that you're about to do these things or whatever, and you're literally threatening the person, but you want him to have your back. So if he don't have your back, you're going to beat him up too. Okay. Okay, I don't know. So it's just like for me, I find it hard. I know I talk more on Ashley because the show is about her and stuff like that, but it finds it harder and harder each week to just be looking at her as so innocent and just a person that's getting played when she has all of this energy and hurt and vitriol for life in general, that she can't even see how it's hurting her in the long run, that she's hurting herself in the long run. Like, this thing that you're doing, you're not healed, sis. I'm sorry, you're not healed. And some people probably did some bad things and you probably were the victim in those things. But now you're taking that and you're using it against other people, and that's not cool. Don has really did nothing but try to be there for you. He might not be the best guy for you. Just let him go. It's that nice way of we just sit there, we just talked about it earlier, how you could say, I really don't want you, but, I can hold on to you a little bit. Hey, take the Cam approach. Like, keep calling me, but I'm going to let you go. You know what I'm saying? Like, do something else. But really, I really need these two people really to just dead it right here. I hope Don really see what he needs to see and makes the wise decision at the end, even if she decides, I want to keep you. Be like, nah, we reached our limit. We tried. For my sanity and your best interest, it's good that I will just walk away. Because if he really wants a relationship that's not worse than all of the ones in the past, I think that would be the best thing for him to do. Because if this is how this is starting off now, it's going down. It's going down fast.
Ashley is not ready to receive the love she swears she wants so bad. Like, from the beginning, we have seen her sabotage her potential relationship with Don. From the text messages to the mention of Kirsten, to now you telling Don he needs swag as if we're in high school, to the I'll slap you in your face. I even forgot about that comment. That, to me, whether you do it or not, just a mere mention of you saying you're going to physically harm me, that's a dub. Like, that's a no-go for me. And I feel like she has to do some deep self-searching. And this is how I know Ashley is not self-aware, right? Because you have literally tried to sabotage this potential relationship with Don so many times. And for what? For the promise of what exactly? For the promise of Kirsten? The one who drank out of an empty water cup when you let him go? Like, I think I really, I don't know. I really feel like Ashley is struggling with accountability. And that's why you don't need to be on a dating show. You need to be in a therapist's office, deconstructing what went wrong, how, why, and why you're not able to fully come to terms with how you show up in relationships, and why you're chasing after people who buy you CVS candy and chocolates and you're calling it a romantic fairy tale. So Don's not going anywhere because we see on the previews that he's on the next episode. But I'm interested in seeing how this pans out. I want to know if she chooses him in the end, if he chooses himself and say, this was a nice ride, but I refuse to be subjected to your craziness. And I say that with love. Like, I'm not calling the girl crazy, but I think her actions have been crazy on this show. So it's going to be interesting to see how it all pans out. I really do hope that Don finally finds the courage that has been missing this whole time, and he steps up for himself. And the reason why he didn't check his friend really is because he agreed with everything his friend was saying. That's the reason why Don was on mute. He was like, yes, say that, friend, because that's what I'm thinking, but I'm too scared to tell her myself. So I don't know, but I hope he chooses himself. I don't know if he's going to have the courage to do that, but we'll see. We'll see. And to go back to that comment, now I'm wondering if, because Ashley did present herself to be bubbly and light, but now I'm wondering if like it was really just immaturity, like hidden in that bubbly personality. I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's a way to avoid accountability, because if I just call myself the colorful, lovely, bubbly person, and I'm full of energy and passion, was the word she kept throwing around when Dawn was telling her she's too much, then I don't have to deal with the things that people are saying about me. And I think she's somebody that is fixed in a particular way of doing things, because she put herself again in the victim seat when she was explaining to Don, like, oh, I'm just out here taking all these hits. Like she wasn't actively involved in combat with that girl. She's like, oh, you just got me out here taking hits. Actually, I mean, yeah, he shouldn't have allowed his friend to just, to be going back and forth, but it wasn't like you were sitting there quiet getting yelled at. You both were yelling at each other. So you're not defenseless, and you actually continue to double down instead of stopping, because that would have also de-escalated some of this, because she kept going. When the friend was like, oh, well, I was right there and I saw him responding to you, she kept going. And then when she started talking about his wardrobe, she was like, well, he's here with me. He made his choice. He's here with me. So that's how you see yourself. You see yourself as this person that you think you're just going to make his life much better. And then you're talking about the girl saying you're aggressive, but she's being aggressive. But are you also acknowledging that you were aggressive? Like, are you missing your part in this? Like, she just takes zero accountability. I think she takes this like no accountability. She wanted Don to come to that table and just be like, I'm so sorry, Ashley. I'm sorry you had that experience. You were so wrong. My friend was so wrong. I was so wrong. You're so right. People like that are very dangerous, because they can never acknowledge a wrong thing in an argument or in a situation. They need to be the victim. It's like, I have to be. She's always going to paint herself as the victim in every scenario. And that to me is problematic, because then I never get to take accountability. I'm just nice. I'm just passionate. I'm not doing anything in your face. Then she said, now peep this. The guy said, you're being aggressive. Oh, I'm not being aggressive. I'm not doing this. So now you're going to show him what aggressive looks like to him when he's telling you how he's feeling your actions are aggressive. Oh, but this is what aggressive looks like, but I'm not doing that. Okay, you don't have to smack me to tell me what a smack is. If I'm telling you I don't like the way our interactions are going, then how about you dial it down, and maybe let's continue the conversation another time when we can talk about this, because we can't talk about it right now. But Ashley feels like she's 100% right. She feels like Don's wrong, his friend's wrong, everybody's wrong. She can't see the error in any of the things that she's done. So, the world owes her an apology. And I just think that's wrong. Because she said it on Crystal XO's interview when they were like saying, you're doing too much with the compliments. Like everybody was saying, I'm going to do what I want to do. I give compliments. This is what I do. I don't care if it bothers you. So there's nothing that we can teach and show Ashley, because she's always going to do what she wants to do.
It's too much. It's too much, because not only is she refusing to be accountable, but she like thinks she's unclockable as well. Like, you can say this person needs to dress better. This friend needs to stop checking me. And there's so many things we can clock you on, sis. From your eyelashes, the 30mm eyelashes, to the 10-inch nails, to the clothes from down the street with the glitter and stuff. And then to you're not confident when other women are in the room. Like, going back to the whole the episode where Stormy came to visit, and she just couldn't stand Stormy existing next to her, right? I really couldn't stand that episode. That pissed me off so bad, because one thing I hate is when I feel like I have to dim my light down for other people to be comfortable. Was Stormy dressed too much for the occasion? Maybe, right? But sis, you should be worried about what you're putting on. If you're putting that shit on, then you don't have to worry about who's standing next to me. So from her not having any accountability to not being able to be in the same room with other women without feeling threatened, to the dangerous communication, is too much with Ashley. It's too much. It's like, where do we start to where do we address first? Like, there's so many areas that I have to address in order to kind of like make this a workable thing. So we need to like pull it back, recenter ourselves, maybe figure out what your purpose is, like, and how you need to get there. But I can't do anything with this type of person. And going back to what I said earlier, it would be dangerous to be even friends with a person like this, because you're going to have to watch what you say around her, watch what you wear around her, watch what you do. Like, everything, I would have to be constantly walking on eggshells, or else I'm literally in danger. So it's a lot. It's a lot for me. And I'm overwhelmed by just watching her on my screen.
And let's talk about how Vern didn't help either. You know? Because I'm sorry, Vern want to pipe in, but we only seen him in suits this whole time. Vern. You ain't helping. You know, you are not helping. Vern, please. We don't need you to be tapped in at this moment. And I'm just like, so now all of y'all want to gang up and talk about the way this guy's dressing when you see old girl is on 10 over there. It's like, come on. Who's going to tell her, like, hey, you're not winning any points? And I don't think she cares to. And that's the sad part. She doesn't care to. She's like, she has the mentality like, oh, she's with me. He's with me. So whatever, you know, he's got a good thing and he knows what he's got. So everything that comes along with me, you got to take it. No bueno.
Any last thoughts? Or are we done? We done? All right, Deacon. This is no more thoughts. Deacon, you know what you need to do. You need to take us to the king.
We don't have much to bring. Oh my God, this has been quite an episode. I think like we really unpacked some things, you know, and really just looked at, you know, these examples here. And you know, if any of our Ready to Love family sees this, you know, don't be offended. You know, this is said in love, because you know we come from a place where we believe iron sharpens iron over here, right? So we are people that look at our actions. You know, Araba, Jay share some great examples from their own selves, right, of lessons learned. That's what friends do. People that love you tell you when you're wrong. You know, they tell you when you're wrong. They give you examples. They show you how to do better. People that don't love you will tell you you're right all day because they don't care. They don't have an investment. It takes time to think about actions. It takes time to sit and let somebody know, hey, listen, what you did right there is wrong. You know, I see it as wrong. You could do better. You deserve better. So I think when we're assessing friends, people that can tell you you're wrong are friends you want. Those are the relationships you want, is people that can help you grow. Right. And we shouldn't be starting relationships for anybody where you feel like you have to change somebody. You feel like you have to manufacture, pick them apart, make them do better. No, you should be accepting people as they are and wanting better and growth, but don't start out with thinking you're going to build somebody up and piece them together. We're not Frankenstein. You know, that's not your job to do that. And we know what happens at the end of the Frankenstein movie. So we don't, you know, the person that thinks that they're doing the creating in a lot of instances gets played. So stop it. And I think also, you know, we need to really understand, we need to be thinking of clear minds. Don't be led by our flesh. We are of flesh, right? But we are also of spirit for those of us that believe, right? And we cannot be led by that flesh. When we're led by our flesh, it leads us down a slippery slope, especially when we think we got it, right? And there's that age-old expression, ain't no fun until the rabbit gets the gun. So please don't overestimate your hand. We all can get it. When you're dealing with people, please, when it comes to Zadia and Sharice, don't, you know, nobody should be getting the worst of us. Nobody, don't just unleash hell, fury on somebody, because it can very well come back to you tenfold. Be measured in your thinking. Also with our words, I think this is the last lesson that we've learned, and this is for each and every one of the scenarios. The tongue is a weapon, and whoever made that age-old expression, it is actually flawed. Sticks and stones may break your bones, but words can never hurt you. Words can hurt you. Words can do damage. There's power in your words. Think about your words and how you share them and how you use them against people, because those words can not only turn around and hurt that person deeply, but they can also be used right back against you. Back to you, Coach.
I'm more impressed by the roundup and the conclusions by Deacon. Listen, audience, thank you so much for joining us for the last 3.5 hours. We had 610 of you guys come in here and enjoy the conversation as well. And really, we appreciate that. I enjoyed this episode as well and enjoyed the conversation. It was deep and profound. So, yeah, listen, make sure you like, share, subscribe, click on the bell button for notification of uploads. Listen, you don't want to be caught founding at this place where you don't be here. When you're here, it's a little too late when you're here. You know what I mean? Yeah. So you don't want to be there. Okay. Last time, one more time, just to get it embedded in your brain. Okay, this is what happens when you slide down the wall. It's a physical representation of sliding on the wall. Okay, we appreciate y'all. Stay locked, stay loaded, and we'll see you again for another vibrant